So what is your vision for the future?
If I rewind, you talked about the 80s. I'm old enough to maybe even go back to the 70s of playing video games. The video game market used to be very locked up. It was, you had retail where you went into stores and there were boxes lined up and you decided what game you were going to buy. And there were only a handful of creators on the planet, big publishers, because they owned all of the distribution, the retail distribution of video games and how you print discs. Today, you and I could go create a video game company tomorrow, and we could go build a game, and through many different mechanisms, we could deliver that game to anybody who wants to play it anywhere. And at Microsoft, with our gaming strategy, we're on a strategy of uniting creators everywhere with players anywhere on any device. We obviously build a video game console called the Xbox. We love the console. We deliver all of our games on PC as well for people who want to play on PC. But we also recognize that in many parts of the planet, people aren't going to buy a game console. They're not going to go buy a gaming PC. They're going to want to play on the device that they already have. So we've invested a lot in cloud streaming technology to allow us to open up markets that might not be accessible via the kind of traditional hardware-based methods.
Sound the alarm, subscribe, shoot the notification bell, throw a grenade at the like button. Do whatever you got to do tonight, because it's about to be a very smoky night. I don't care who you got to tell. Tell your whole inheritance of family resourcefulness. Go to everybody that you know around the world. Start calling telephones, buzz satellites and all kinds of servers. Set the alarms out, because tonight we're gonna leave no stone unturned. Everything gets flipped upside down. I'm super hyped for this show tonight, and I'm glad everybody can be a part of this show tonight. I got Six Slayer on board, I got the Realest One on board, and I got Games Heroes on board. And after I get through talking this, y'all go ahead and grab y'all drink, kick back, relax, buckle up, and enjoy the ride. We're about to get this thing started. Let's go. Y'all can unmute yourselves now. It's okay to unmute yourself.
No, I was waiting on you to say something.
Go ahead and unmute yourself.
I thought you had more to say.
Yeah, we're good, man.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I got my man Six Slayer. Gonna start this show off right out. I'm coming to you first, man, because I'm excited about what you got to bring to the table. The title tonight says it all. Says it all. And yeah, you guys out there that's been running your mouth so much, it's not going to be a good show for y'all. To the Xbox community out here and to all the real gamers out here, y'all going to love this show. We're going to take our time. No rush at all. These guys are going to get thorough tonight. We're going to clean up all the trash, and we're going to go to sleep real well, man. We'll see y'all in the morning, Lord's will. But right now, Six Slayer, give me some smoke, man.
Bruh. Before you even get down with that, of course, we got our fellow homies here on the cast, Realist, Games Heroes. What's up? What's up, bro?
Hey, what's up?
Oh man, thanks to everybody out there in the chat community. We got Spartan, Dr. Vodka, Kevin Coates. Welcome. Pull up a chair. And yo, oftentimes, we start this show and you got Legal here saying, yo, Sick called me and he was telling me all this stuff and we need to do this, we need to do that. And yo, this episode is no different, bro. This has been a long time coming on one of the topics. And the other one, I would say as well. But in particular, when we're talking about these PlayStation chips, this is a bit of older topic, so I wanted to hit that one first and get that one out the way. Long before I even met Legal, spoke to him, he knew someone else that unfortunately wasn't able to be here tonight, Guru, right? And they had many conversations about the SoC in that PlayStation 5, right? And then Bloomberg came out with the word that 50% of those chips don't work. And we've spoken on this from time to time. Various aspects of the news came out. Elite Guru and Teknoblast were one of the first two to really put Legal up on this. And then when he met me, I added a bit more pieces to that puzzle. But a final piece of that puzzle, thanks to Austin Evans, right? And some other folks who actually looked into it around the same time. And Austin and myself, we both missed it the same way. So I suggest to you after this podcast, you go to Austin Evans and you check out his video where he x-rayed the PlayStation 5, multiple models of the PlayStation 5, okay? Launch model he had in between, when they had that smaller heatsink, right? And now this new model with a 6 nanometer chip. Now then, I know it's a lot of technical talk here and there, but I want to establish a couple of things for those who are not in the know, right? So, TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor, they make chips for a number of companies. They make the chip in the Xbox, they make the chip in the PlayStation, and make chips for AMD in general. They make chips for NVIDIA. In fact, they make some chips for Intel here and there as well, right? So chip technology works such that the smaller you get the nanometers, the smaller the transistors are, or rather the space in between the transistors, to be more specific. The smaller that is, the more transistor you can fit within a set size of chip, the less electricity it uses, and thus less heat, and thus the faster and more powerful that chip can be, the more capable that chip can be, right? If you've ever seen a wafer, anytime they announce a new chip design, they'll hold up the wafer, and the wafer will have lots of chips on there, okay? And the smaller you have it, the more chips can be fit on the wafer, and the wafers are about the same price, give or take, from generation to generation. So the more chips you can fit, because the smaller they are, the more chips you get out of the wafer, and thus you can profit more from selling more chips for the same input price, right, of the raw materials, right? So both the Xbox and the PlayStation this generation were built by TSMC at what they call 7 nanometers. They're both made that way, right? And TSMC, their 7 nanometer technology, has a yield rate, as they refer to it, of above 95%, right? That means 95 out of 100 chips, give or take, right? In fact, above that, actually, will work as designed. So that comes in direct conflict with the reports by Bloomberg that 50% of those chips don't work. Yeah, the truth of the matter is, we know the PlayStation 5 is an overclocked system. We don't know the details behind the scenes as to when, but we know the why. from the moment the Xbox Series X was announced at the Game Awards, right? With that 12 teraflops. Actually, what is it? 12.1 actually, right? Since then, Sony must have been pissing their pants, worried, because their chip is only 9.2. Okay, forget the RDNA 1 and 2 debate. Just the raw teraflops, which are directly comparable because they're both from AMD. Like, you can't compare the teraflops of NVIDIA and AMD, but you can compare AMD to AMD, right? So we can already see why one platform is more capable than the other, right? So when those words came out, 12 teraflops, everyone was shocked. If you're an Xbox fan, you know that was already the beginning of a new era of Xbox. For PlayStation fans, they were like, what? And the day when Mark Cerny had his presentation about the PlayStation 5, and he said 9.2 overclocking to 10.2 or 10.3 or whatever that is, it's a problem. So back to what I was saying about the 50%. How is it 50% of those chips are failing? I got you, realist, right? 50% of those chips are failing if the yield rate is at 95%. The overclocking is the answer, right? Like I said, 95% yield rate. But that doesn't mean, even though 95% of those chips passed the test, some passed a little better than others. You know, in school, you need a C or a D or whatever to pass the
Speak
test,
on it.
right? You need a C or a D to pass the test, right? And you can get an A, you can get a B or C or a D, that's considered passing. But the student that gets the A and the student that gets the C are on two different classes. And you could see this in Austin Evans' video, right? The launch PlayStation 5 that he had used however much electricity it used, right? I think it was like 250 watts or something like that, right? Then he got a later version that actually, even though I believe it used less, not by that much, or in fact more, I believe. I forget which, right? But it didn't use what you would think it would have for an improved system. That's because that must have been, as he explains in the video, one of the chips that didn't do so well. Maybe that chip had gotten a C or a D, right? Compared to his launch system that probably had a, let's say, a B or B plus, you know, type of grade, right? So now he does his little x-rays, and he missed it the same way I missed it a month ago, okay, when he did the previous video. And once again, shout out to Austin Evans. The first time he did the video, when they cut out all, you know, the copper out the heat sink and all of that to save themselves some money, right? And we'll return to that aspect of saving themselves some money, right? Then, you know, about a month ago, we started hearing rumors that there's yet another model of the PS5 that's slightly different, right? And as you see in Austin's video about a month ago, he had it X-rayed and everything. And he missed it because the little copper block was right there, and he didn't notice what was going on. But it was there for him to see, and he missed it. And I missed it the same way, right? But at that time, when those rumors were going out there, I tweeted at the dude. I said, yo, are you going to look into this like you did the last time? Inquiring minds wants to know. He responded with a salute. Okay, no words, just a salute emoji. I'm like, you know what that means? He got it. He's all is well in hand. He's taking care of it. And indeed he did. But he missed it like I missed it, because he was too busy thinking, yo, why is this one still using a lot of power, you know, similar to his launch system, but not as low as you would imagine with everything else happening, right? Because he realizes after the fact that he probably got a C+ system compared to a B+ system he had for his launch model, right? Now then, at the end of the video, he makes it clear that some other individuals did take off that heatsink, and at the end of the video, he finally does take off the heatsink. You know, he didn't want to because it's going to affect, you know, the seal of the liquid metal. And even though he could put the system back together and apply new liquid metal and all that, it's not going to be the same enough for testing anymore. Once he takes off, you know, that heatsink, he can't do that anymore. So he did all the testing and x-raying he could before he did that. And then he realized his mistake when he found out that, you know, some other people that already did that ahead of him. So he finally takes off the top, he measures it up, and yo, the chip is 6 nanometers, which means, remember what I told y'all from the little lesson in the beginning there? The lower your nanometers, the smaller your transistors, or rather the space between the transistors, the more chips you can fit on that wafer. The more chips you get out of the wafer, thus each chip costs you less. Right. They're already saving money, right? On the copper from the heatsink, that's smaller. The motherboard, that's smaller.
He's about to get in. He's about to get in. Speak on it.
And lastly, the chip that's smaller. That's costing them less per chip because the wafer costs generally the same and they're getting more chips out of it. And not only that, this is a high yield design, right? 7 nanometers was already above 95%. 6 nanometers is just an improvement over 7. It's just a marketing thing, right? In terms of the nanometers, right? It's not really accurate to, like, if you was to actually sit there and measure it with an electron microscope or whatever they use, right? It's not to that point, but in fact, these names are largely marketing at this point, right? So 6 is an improved 7 technology, right? Like what they learned about what they did wrong with 7, they implement into 6. And you can see it at the end of the video when he gets his little measurement tool. I forget what they call those things. The thing where you measure the size of that little the core of the chip there.
No, I'm gonna say calipers.
Yes, the calipers. Thank you. When he put the calipers on there and he saw, yo, the outside is big, is the same size as the old one, which is part of the reason, as he explains, he missed it, right? But the chip on the inside, because that's just the package. The chip is really that little spot in the middle. That part is smaller. They're getting more chips per wafer. They are higher quality in comparison than before. They're more resistant to the stresses of overclocking, which you're generally not supposed to do. You can overclock a chip if it was made to run at a certain speed and they're selling it at a lower speed. But remember, these chips were made to be at 9.2 teraflops. The Xbox being at 12.1 scared the hell out of Sony. We already know this. We already discussed this countless times here on the show and elsewhere on the internet, right? Now then, they're getting more chips, right? More than likely, they're of higher quality, so the yield rate is even higher, right? The copper heatsink is smaller because, of course, these chips are producing slightly less heat and are using less electricity, right? So Sony is saving money. You might be saving money more and charging you more, right? You might be saving money if you get one of these newer PlayStations in terms of your electricity bill, right? And that's if you're lucky to get one of these specific models. But they increase the price. They're forcing you to, outside of the US, right? They're increasing the price. But here in the US, you got to get a bundle, right? I've spoken to 6 people over the past week. Most recently, I talked to my brother and another person right here on Twitter. I'm sorry, I forget this individual's names. And they both said the same thing. They walked into GameStop to see if they have PlayStation in stock. And yes, they did, but they're selling them for $750. You're paying $200 above. And that's above the $550 because you have to get the bundle version with Horizon Forgotten West. Sony is still cheating gamers. This is fact. I've explained to you why. You can listen to
they've been doing that for years, though.
They've been doing that for years, but this is a new level. This is a new level because it's everything I've just explained to you is verified.
To get real good.
It's
buckle up.
It's ridiculous. The motherboard is also smaller. There's less parts to it. It's less complex. Austin Evans says it at the end of the video. That's the board that they should be using on a PlayStation 5 Slim. The first external difference to the PlayStation 5. Because we all know that PlayStation 5 look ugly as sin. It looks like a room heater. And this is the opinion of people all around the world. And you PlayStation fans were upset that I just said that. Yeah, the Xbox does look like a refrigerator. We already own that joke. Oh, and by the way, now we have an even smaller mini fridge. It's at Walmart now, okay, for a lower price. And in fact, it's on sale. I've seen it as low as $59.99, okay? So Microsoft has owned that. And truly, the look of these systems don't matter, but the reason I bring it up is they have the opportunity to change the appearance of the system now, okay? This motherboard is smaller. This chip is smaller. It's using less electricity. The yield rates must be higher. Sony is cheating you. Black and white. There is no debating this. If you think any aspect of what I've just explained to you is wrong, go do your own research. Listen to this episode once again later on. Do your own homework and come back to me and tell me how you think I was wrong. I guarantee you, you can't do it. PlayStation fanboys, I dare you. Come test me. Come test my words. Okay?
Look what Jago 6 just said. He just confirmed everything. So glorious. Let me take a page out of 6 Layer. Then we're going to pass this mic around.
Yep.
These two young gentlemen underneath the 6 Layer, their patience will be granted for their vengeance tonight.
Oh, I'm done. It's their turn.
Oh, you killed it, bro. Going back to what he elaborated on with Teknoblast and Elite Guru, who couldn't be here tonight. And Teknoblast is on vacation with his family, who couldn't be here tonight. So I'm going to carry the weight. I was there with Teknoblast when I gave him that article and I said, Tech, look, man, I need somebody to go with me. I need somebody to hold strong with me to the end. I'm going to put my 10 toes down all the way to the 10th, right? And I was like, look, man, this is kind of weird, but if Bloomberg is reporting it, something is wrong, right? And so when I sent him the article, he read it and he was like, this isn't good, man. I was like, yeah, because Sony's supposed to be issuing out a whole lot of consoles. That's what they're claiming anyway, by the millions. And they were supposed to get about 14 million by 2021 in March, so to speak. March, April, around that timeline. And they were looking at having at least over 7 million sold by January at the most, at the end of January at the most. And so when Bloomberg came out with that report, I did my homework on all that stuff, the yields, the SOCs, and all that stuff. And I was like, man, what if it's really true, right? So I'm watching this, y'all. I'm watching. This is a true story. I saw it all when Sony denied. See, you got this, the reason why we keep going back to this is because you thought we were lying. And victory is in our hands now. Because you thought we was lying. You wanted it to be a lie. You closed your eyes, like I said, and wished for it to be a lie, right? And I was saying to myself, wait a minute. Something is really wrong, Sick. Because when I saw Sony lie on Twitter, I said, damn, Sony actually called Bloomberg liars and that they're going to be ready on launch day? So Jago's word at launch holds a lot of weight here, and I'm letting that breathe because it's so true. There's a story into what he just said. They went all through the summer, right? You mentioned Mark Cerny. The reason why Mark Cerny had to hit that podium is because when Microsoft said that their console was 12 T-flops, man, Sony knew right then they lost the power talk. They lost the power talk when that happened. Most, all facts right now. Sit back, strap on your seatbelt, man, and relax on this ride because we taking all the air out of the room.
And I just want to add, they didn't lose by a little bit. They lost by a lot. That's a big gap.
Right. And so, yeah, this wasn't last gen power talk. This is a whole leap. And so Elite Guru saw my post, right? He immediately hit me up in my DMs on Twitter and started talking to me and said legal. Now, I'm going to give out the date, 6, so they know I'm not lying about this. We put this report, and like I said, if you're one of those guys that love to really be curious about stuff, all you got to do is go on my Twitter page, man, and scroll away. Go all the way back. Get in the 2020s and go all the way up to around March or April. You'll see all them posts I did. And Elite was like, I'm going to let you know something, man, that after watching that Cerny show, he was like, bro, he's sitting up here lying to people. I said, what do you mean, Guru? Because Guru knows knows the little ones and twos about PC as well. So he's teaching me some things, overclocking, and he was like, legal. There's no way that the console is going to perform on an all-time smooth performance rate when it's being overclocked. So I was like, what are you talking about, man? What? He was like, okay, you saw he said it was a 9.2, whatever. They're going to knock it up to a 10.3 or something. He was like, bro, that's running it harder, making it work harder. And then what they don't want to, then what they're not saying is this. They're not telling their fans that by overclocking it, it shortens the lifespan of the console. I was like, get out of here. He was like, nah, man.
He is not lying.
He was like, nah, just watch. He was like, just watch. And he even said it. He says, I'm going to go with you all the way to the end. So it's going to be me, you, and Teknoblast on this one. We're wrong. We're wrong. And he laughed. He said, but when have we been wrong? I got certainty on this one, man. So we said, bet. We all three go in together. And that's why we went in like we did, sick. And then when look, what was funny, y'all, right? That nobody caught on to it. I didn't until Sick threw me this Austin Evans video. So this is why we're giving Austin Evans a whole lot of praise tonight. Because that video validates everything we were talking about almost 2 years ago. No, over 2 years ago. That's right. Because it was in the springtime of 2020. We're past that. We're in the fall. So over 2 years ago, we got laughed at, right? Now notice, if you slow down and just think for a minute, right? Because Sony doesn't want you to think. They want you to stay dumb. That's how they want you to do, so they can manipulate, right? That first console, now that we know that they done make 3 different ones, so that first console was built to lie about its power because Sony knew they couldn't do that 12 T-flop. So what they were trying to do, Six Slayer, was to make the number 10 something, right? So then they could use that narrative. Oh, it's not a big deal. You know, exactly. Our games will look similar.
Exactly.
12 versus 10 is not a big difference. That's what they were trying to do. But what ended up happening? Those YouTubers were ready to add on to their empires of destruction for Xbox, right? They couldn't wait, right? To watch this. Here's another thing that's funny, Game Zeros and Elite. They were ready to plug those damn PlayStation 5 to those damn OLED TVs. Don't ask me why, but they were ready, right? They were ready. They didn't even know what they were doing, but they were ready. They went out here and bought those OLED TVs for those PlayStation 5s and had us all scratching our heads like, what the hell do they think the PlayStation 5 is going to do hooked up to these damn OLED TVs when it can't even utilize none of the stuff that the OLED TVs are offering?
Hey,
What?
it doesn't have VRR. You
It
don't
has
have
none of that, right?
none of that.
But I sat here and watched it.
That's the
Game
RDNA
Heroes, I
1.5.
watched them tortured all through the summer of them talking about they're getting their OLED TVs and all this stuff. We watched them on Twitter lie about having these high-end PCs, right? It was a beautiful time. And so when the debut day came, right? The big fiasco came, right? What happened? They bricked live on YouTube. They immediately shut down their channels, right? Because they were embarrassed. What happened when Spider-Man Miles Morales came out? Buggy as hell. You had them swinging around looking like a lamppost, some water, concrete, benches, and invisible webs, and all kinds of stuff. What did the PlayStation community do? They played it off by laughing and making fun of the
for
game.
a system that was supposed to be so mature, that was rumored to have come out a year earlier, you know, where the tools were so mature, and that's why they didn't have those issues like Xbox was having earlier on. And yet it had all those issues. It just goes to show.
They tell me, Legal, you're out of your mind, right? Stop trying to gas up all of this, right? Because this is normal, right? I remember all you donkeys telling me that. This is normal day one stuff. I said, you sure about that? So I start throwing them articles out. Is it that y'all didn't read these articles? Or like y'all typically do, ignore it, thinking that if I don't read these articles, none of this stuff exists. So I had to choose between the two. And I was weighing it. I said, nah, y'all was doing y'all's whip-de-doo tactics by ignoring these articles, acting like what they were saying weren't true. So what did I do? I kept on preaching the good word out of the book of X, and y'all kept crucifying me. So then I said, okay, listen, Tech, look, they ain't going to believe us, Guru. Hold back. Since they want to bring up the day one thing and act like we're dumb, right? I'll give them to the December 31st, right? I'll give them 2 months. Let's see if this clears up. And if we're wrong, then we're mad enough to say we're wrong. December, speed things up. December 31st gets here, and the games are still crashing. The console's shutting off. They're getting a green screen and all this.
Where's that rest mode at?
Yeah. I said, okay, well, I'll even spare y'all again, right? I'll give you to the end of spring. And if this damn thing still happens at the end of spring, you getting all this smoke. What happened? Still crashing. So then I come back out and I say, okay, when are y'all going to admit that this isn't a day one issue? When are y'all going to stop with all the excuses and the narratives, right? When are y'all going to face this console? What happens next? The storage slot became a talking point. Then what happened? Oh, the consoles are so loud. My consoles are hot. They're melting. Remember that? Some of them were melting, bro. They were getting so hot. Guru's prediction came to fruition. Y'all laughed about him. These consoles were burning up because they were overclocked. What did we tell y'all were going to be? We told y'all that y'all were going to be beta testers for Sony. You thought we were just being haters. Oh, you're just a hater, Legal. I'm not a hater. I'm telling you the truth.
Yo, Legal, I want to hop in on that aspect right quick. How many times on how many podcasts did I say, I want to eventually get a PlayStation, but not now. Not like this. There better be a slim or some kind of physical from the ground level redesign of the PS5. It doesn't have to be a Pro, but one that works properly, right? And these were the reasons why I was saying this whole time. I continually said this all the time. I did not trust that system to function properly, and I'm not putting my money to it. And I'm the one who would even consider buying a PlayStation amongst the group at the time. Nobody would. And I would speak those words, I would get shut down. I couldn't even get those out, right? But that was the reason why. It was a factual, technical reason, not an opinion. No, I hate Sony. I'm telling you, I want to buy one, but I can't do it now. It's not safe money to spend on.
Now that's true. I remember that. And now, you know what's so blessed about that now, Six Slayer? You still don't have to buy a PlayStation 5 because you know why? Those games are going to your glorious PC. Yeah.
No, it's not about PC though. Okay, that man lied.
Here come the good part, right? Y'all sat there and tried to literally debate with me as the reasons why this stuff was happening. These consoles were melting. Then what was the next one? The fans. The fans. Y'all remember that? Oh, we found out that there's two different fans in the console. Sony snuck in different fans. And you remember their excuse? Oh, that's normal. They just get different parts from. No, it's not normal. They can get third parties to create parts, but the parts that they create are the same assembly parts that are recognized by the book that builds these consoles. You don't just go out and get different scrap material and just put into a damn console because it fits. But guess what? Sony did that. Sony did that. So what did I say? So damn, Sony, you mean to tell me you got two different consoles out here floating around with two different fans? So you got a fan that's blowing faster now to keep it cooler? Well, what about the ones that don't? They just out of luck. You just out of luck, buddy. So then we move past that and all the goalposts that you donkeys could come up with, right? And then all of a sudden, we hear about Sony doing a revision. And I said, I be damn. They're doing a revision. Now, what the hell would they need to do a revision if there's nothing wrong with the console? Why would they need to do a revision if
It's been a while.
there's
It's the Xbox revision.
nothing wrong with the consoles? Okay, so the revision comes out. They might as well kept that to themselves because they were talking about screwdrivers and screws. You can get a console out here now. You don't even have to do that. Snap on, snap off. Now get that shit out of here. Wasting our time with that. So they sat around. Sony knew that they built a shitty console. All right? So now everybody can say that. That's validated, subsidized, factual information right there. That the very first PlayStation 5 is dog shit. Now, the second one comes. Oh, look, Austin Evans, it's cooler. Wait a minute. Oh, it's hotter. It's the heat shrink shrunk though. Y'all remember that? But it's catching more heat. So Sony gets ridiculed for that. But what we don't really know what's going on, to my panel, to the chit chat community, and all the gamers around the world, what we didn't realize what was happening was all during this time, Sony's trying to get it right. Now, why would Sony be trying to get it right if nothing's wrong with the consoles? And then it comes today that Austin Evans comes out with this damn video, and they done got 3 damn PlayStation 5s now on top of the other 2. That's 5. 5 damn consoles in less than 2 years. And now this one is supposed to have made it. It's cooler. It's a brand new console. And
Well,
guess
they're
what?
charging more money.
Six Slayer. Six Slayer. For
But-
everything that we love. Look at this long pole. Look at this shafting.
But legal. Look, how many consoles? 5.
I'm almost done. I'm almost done, Game Heroes. Because watch this, Game Heroes. What was their opinion for raising the money? What was their reason for doing that? For making it more expensive? Today?
Inflation.
Inflation.
But weren't they profiting more than ever just
on.
before that?
Hold on. Inflation was the excuse today. What was the damn excuse back in 2020 that I caught them lying on? Coronavirus. And you remember, it wasn't the coronavirus because when they instituted for the chip, they were going for the Polaris and Vegas chip. And here's the thing. They were already saying they were already in the process of making the new PlayStation 5. That was in 2019. So all these other YouTubers out there that were lying to y'all, telling y'all that the PlayStation 5 was going to be ready in 2019, they didn't do their research. Y'all came
Chips were being produced then. Chips were being produced then, but they weren't making systems then. And that's why the coronavirus excuse was just that.
The coronavirus made things worse for the liar.
Yep.
That's all it did. Because Microsoft had Game Pass out here. Had it out here in 2017, way before the pandemic hit. The liar is the one who caught hell from all of this. Because once they lied and then the pandemic hit, it made it worse. All it did was make it worse for Sony. So all this time, they never fooled the legal. They never fooled me. I've been waiting, Sony. I knew eventually you had to show your card. You can fake your donkeys day in, day out. As a matter of fact, your donkeys like to be faked out. They love it. They get high off of them. They get high off of that lie pipe. They love that lie pipe, Games Heroes. They love it. They smoke that up. Facts. They don't debate the lie pipe. They embrace the lie pipe. They the ones out here fronting that they ain't got no loud ass console. That console running hot. They gotta fake that off. We don't. Hell, I gotta check to see if my Xbox even on. That's how quiet it is.
Yeah, I never hear it.
Damn.
If it wasn't for that white light, I wouldn't even know.
Yeah, if I turn to the back, exactly. You know what I'm saying? These things are facts. And so now we're here today, and the cat's out the bag. They love being bent over, bro. Listen, y'all can take it how you want to take it. We ain't biting our tongue for none of this. I give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us gaming, damn it. Y'all the ones came out here wanting to play games this generation. We ain't playing games with y'all this generation. So you can run across the street. You can listen to whoever you want, like we always say. But guess what? Guess what? They afraid to tell you what we tell you because they play the seesaw tactics. We don't play the seesaw tactics. We don't go up and down with y'all. We shooting bullseyes. We do nothing but shoot straight with you. And if we miss the bullseye, we man enough to say we made a mistake. Yep, we was wrong. We ain't scared to say that. The only thing about it is, show us what we wrong at. Games Heroes, Realists, y'all can take a mic, man.
Well, I guess Game look. Yeah, go ahead, Game.
Oh no, I'd say that there's 5 consoles in what 2 years, right? And how many times they revealed the console? Like a couple of times. But you got to understand that the reason why they do that because they got to make a profit. And this should go back to the PS3 days. Like remember the PS3 was overpriced, and they had to make their own chips and everything. So that's why they have to do that. And all that stuff is just that. They couldn't make a powerful system because if they make a powerful system and they take a loss, that will kill Sony as a bit. All right, because Sony depends on PlayStation. Half the income is PlayStation. So that's what I want to say.
This is true.
I just got a couple questions, man. How many revisions has the Xbox done?
One. And the reason why the reason why is one, because Microsoft could afford a loss. Because how much money do Microsoft has? Trillions.
No.
But
they're not even making a
Look, on
loss.
this Xbox Series X and S consoles, two different SKUs. How many revisions have they done?
Revisions. None, as far as we know. Are there minor changes with fans and minor things here and there? We can only imagine, but we've never seen none.
You've
never seen none.
You had
never
it right.
seen it.
You had it right. You had it right. None. So if I'm gonna put my money somewhere and have confidence, it's gonna be on the company that knows what they're doing and did it right the first time. Because see, all these excuses we got to make for them. Look, if that's the side you choose, that's going to sell you a console, mess up, and charge you for their mess ups, then that's on you. But see, all this goes into competition, right? You know how Satya had to come and tell them, let us compete. Competition is what made Sony start sweating, start overclocking chips. That's what competition does. That's what competition did to
more
Sony.
games on PC, providing more, services and options, things, hardware, different things.
So again, man, I'm blaming Xbox for what Sony's doing, man. They shouldn't have done them like that, man. They should have just came out with a 9.2 teraflop console so that Sony wouldn't have to do what they're doing right now.
Hey, realist, there's a rumor going on. They're making it slim. Or not slim, pro.
They're not gonna. Yeah. I mean, they have to do something. Because once these tools get utilized that everybody's been laughing about these past 2 years, something's gonna have to shake. Because you got a 1.5 RDNA console on one side and the RDNA 2 and 12 teraflops on the other side.
RDNA 1.1 to be exact. The engineer who built the PlayStation 5 said that.
And even before he said it, we had the X-rays of the chips. We knew what was in them.
Facts.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, all this stuff. I mean, look, Microsoft put them in the corner. See, from the start, Xbox let everybody know their console, what it looked like a year in advance. It had teardowns a few months after that. Sony, it took them forever to get that dude to bring that console that was bigger than him out on the table to break it down. So from the start, this whole generation, Xbox has been knocking it out of the park with everything except for, first party title after first party title. But we know that's coming. But as far as the hardware, because see, Phil said we got to get the hardware together. Then we'll get the software, right? And nothing's changed now. The hardware is on point. So now all we got to do is worry about the software. And he said he doesn't see any revision of pros coming. But Sony's
Has
gonna
the
have to do something.
Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X maintained itself, realist? Where's our revisions at?
That's what I led with.
But realist. Do Xbox has this generation, right? Do Xbox have any bad first party games?
Their first parties are high rated on average compared to Sony's.
82 on Grounded, 77 on Dust Falls, 92 on Forza. What else? Halo Infinite got 87. Shit, Psychonauts got an 87.
Higher average than Sony.
90.
Who won the best publisher last year?
Microsoft.
How many awards we were seeing from that one website last week? And it was Xbox running away with, I think, all of them.
Yeah.
Except for running away with all of them sick. But
except for the ones where they don't fit, like handhelds.
That Xbox has no games.
Yo, listen, man.
I feel like y'all jumping on me right now. Look, man. I didn't say. Hey, go ahead, because see, you know what the people are looking for.
No,
as Xbox fans, we don't come to Xbox for games like that, right? Xbox is trying to train us to expect different. We can't always expect these big $200 million games. And you get your Psychonauts and you get your Pendaments and you're Grounded, things like that. So that's what I'm saying. That they haven't brought Gears, Forza, Halo, right? We haven't gotten Gears yet. Pretty much skip this whole year.
What's this misconception that Sony don't have these little games either? What about Sackboy? What about
Returnal?
Babylon 4? What about
Returnal?
What about Sifu and all these little small type games?
Yeah,
those are not first party either, though.
No, but neither.
Sifu's not first party.
Right.
Sifu
Grounded isn't
is
it?
But they claimed them, though.
and Returnal
Yeah,
wasn't.
they claimed it. Yeah, they claimed
they
it.
claimed
Grounded
them,
ain't
though. Those are
first-party either, it's
PlayStation
just getting
games.
first-party support.
Yeah,
Yeah, but what I'm
they're
saying, no,
PlayStation games.
Sifu wasn't, Returnal wasn't, but you're right
No,
about
but-
you're right about a Ratchet and Clank and
No,
what's
but
the other little game?
but really, I can give Returnal because at the end of the day, if you want to get Returnal, you want to get a Dust Falls, you gotta get Returnal because Sony owns the IP and they publish it. That's what
They
we
own
call
it
the second
now,
party.
but when they
Yeah.
published it, when they released that game, they hadn't bought Housemarque yet.
Yeah, but they still
So
own
that's
the
what I'm
IP.
saying. Look,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if you want to count every exclusive deal that they make, they're always going to outdo Microsoft. Microsoft's not doing that anymore.
Now, what am I exclusive deal? We're talking about second part, like Death Stranding.
Look, I'm talking about Sony. Right now, they're Sony. Now we can talk about them because we can't talk about Bethesda right now, so they can't talk about Housemarque. But that's the only thing that Microsoft hasn't been doing is bringing the big games that Xbox. Because let's be honest, man, a lot of these people are not playing games; they're talking about games. And when it comes to it, we got to have a game to go up.
Big on it.
But you, we're real gamers. We're gonna play our Grounded. You're gonna play Pentiment Game Heroes. I can't say I am too. You're gonna. And I'm playing all these games that hit Game Pass that I like. But at the end of the day,
Proteus and Moonscar and countless games they come out of nowhere.
That's you. That Proteus game. That's what I was talking about, illegal. But we know that when push comes to shove, it's the Fables, it's the Starfields, it's the Redfalls, it's the Death Loops that we really want to see. And let's be honest, whether we want to admit it or not, when it comes to this whole console back and forth war, all these list wars, Deathloop was on their console first, and Microsoft owns them. But next year, it's a wrap. I encourage them all to get whatever shots they can get in, because after a while, they're gonna all have to block all Xbox dudes. They've already started. You had Xbox dudes that's friends with ponies getting blocked now.
Yeah,
it's about to get ugly. It's about to get ugly.
Yeah, I was just watching Dirt's podcast. They'll post up and then we're talking all about that. It's ridiculous. Now they would always have the neutrals in the scene, or at least try to be. You know what I'm saying? Behind the scenes, he's not so bad of a guy. At least we both play games, whatever they try. But when push comes to shove, they really start to be assholes, right?
But
now when push coming to shove, so they start blocking them.
But when you say Xbox got no games, right? We know why.
Who said that?
No. The reason why why they say Xbox got no games.
Because they can.
Because they can. The more they say it, they think the regular people will just believe it because they don't know left from right.
No, it's not because of that. Because if it's not these over the shoulder type simulate video games they've been playing for years, the game is garbage. Like look. When Starfield, when Bethesda showed Starfield, right, the first time, right, the gameplay and everything, they were trashing it, calling it No Man's Sky. The game is trash, garbage.
Yeah, but that's donkey narrative, bro. But
we come
to Xbox for that though. See, like Grounded are in Minecraft type games. Those are the games that you expect from Nintendo, right? But we're getting them. Microsoft sees the big picture. They're not just thinking about us, quote unquote, AAA, big budget game lovers. They got to get these e-games, because while we're hyping up these $200 million budget games, you got Mario Kart over there kicking ass.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Mario Rabbids and all this other crap over there kicking ass. So Microsoft needs to cultivate their own fan base with their own new IP. Activision's going to bring Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. We're going to see a lot more of these games. Grounded, great game. Legal said we're going to play. We're going to see. But
Realist is making a good point. But if y'all didn't watch that interview, Phil Spencer said, we got the PC, we got the console, we got the cloud. There's only one other space that they don't have. This is why the ABK thing deal is so big, because ABK is big in mobile gaming.
Yes.
Microsoft is going to have a hand in all four spots of those entities. They're about to become a major player when it comes to gaming. This is where Nintendo and Sony isn't even thought about.
But I mean, when Phil told them all who their competition was, they laughed.
Because
so one of those named companies is now on the world tour with Jim Ryan crying.
Right.
All right.
Right.
And it ain't
goes
Nintendo
back
and
to
Sony
game.
as the competition. They're customers.
That's right. They're customers. They have look, put it like this, man. Those weirdo PlayStation fans, they have to say things to make themselves feel good, like I've always said. Now, this ain't just started on social media, like I've always said. I was there back in the day when they were trying to validate why they even bought a damn PlayStation back in the day. And I used to be like, why are you trying to validate your console, bro? Just play on it. When did we ever have to feel like we got to validate what you got? Just play on it. Because for some reason, they thought they were the true rebels of gaming because they wasn't supporting the traditional consoles anymore. They wasn't supporting Nintendo or Sega. They had something new. And it was in their minds that because they have something new, that they were going to be these rebels, right? And so it carried over to them. It just kept going. When they felt like they destroyed Sega, they felt like gods, man.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of having a real gamer mindset about that, like, damn, Sega gone, man. I ain't like that. What happened? And, blase, blah. Because I'm not holding them accountable for buying a PlayStation 2. I hold Sega accountable for what they did to themselves. Sony was just competing.
No, there's both. It's both.
Notice
Sega did what they did, but Sony lied about a lot of shit and misrepresented.
It didn't matter what Sony did because
competition is competition, but there's also straight lying.
That's
and
true.
They straight lie.
You can lie to sell your product all day long, right? It doesn't become a problem until you can't live up to that lie. It's only a lie when it can't live up. That's why we're talking about the PlayStation 5 tonight, because they lied about it. Bro, they saw the early trappings, right, Sig? And they started changing up. This was the red flag when we believe in generations only and we're going to make games only for the PlayStation 5.
Because their original plan was to have a swarm of systems, and they couldn't do it.
I said it 4 years ago, damn it. Bro, the worst thing that can happen to the new PlayStation is trying to get that exodus to occur. You get that exodus to occur, you got something great moving forward. But I doubt you will. I doubt you're going to get that exodus because I saw what was happening with Microsoft and AMD.
And
you got to understand the history of Sony to understand how easily it was to predict what was about to happen next. They don't hold the keys to technological advances. They never have because they're an electronic company. They have to wait for the technological companies to first make the advances, and then they come in.
Then they take them and they use them. Right. But see, another thing I realized too is that Sony's plan was twofold. They probably even expected Microsoft to take the performance crown from them. What they probably didn't expect was for them to take it so completely, right? And they thought they can just swarm out a bunch of PlayStation 5s, right? So even though they had the weaker system, it wouldn't have been enough to overtake their momentum, particularly from last generation, right? But with the issues that I explained, and as soon as Bloomberg put out that report, I started to think along those lines, right? And then when everything happened the way it did, it seems clear to me that the original plan was to just put a swarm of systems out there, right? That's why they said things like, we believe in generations, because they were going to drop the PS4 like a hot rock, like Xbox did with the original Xbox because they were forced to. But remember, Microsoft was forced to. Sony was choosing to do what they were doing with the PS4. They were going to drop it like a hot rock, but now they had to roll back what they were doing, right? And keep that system running a bit more, making versions of games to run on their old system. This is why the PlayStation fanboys are having a bit of a civil war for those who have a PS5 and those who don't. If you don't have a PS5, you may as well be an Xbox to them. And they will talk down to you the same way they try to talk to us. It's pretty clear now when you see it all the pieces at play.
Look at E. Look at E. I want everybody to go back and look at this, right? Now I want y'all to see something here. He says truth, right? Watch this. And watch what he says. Sony did kill Sega and did some underhanded stuff, right?
He's not lying about that, though.
Scroll down. And I said that Sega eternally killed themselves. And it was a war between really Sega Japan and Sega USA. Sega Japan would not ship consoles.
Documentary Console Wars.
Yep,
it's
to
there.
Get them there. Peter Moore spoke about this, right? And I said that's what ultimately killed Sega, because Sega had the games. Dreamcast had the games. They just couldn't get Japan to believe that if you give us some of these consoles over here, we will compete. Because
it was an issue they had since the 16-bit era. But they've been fighting against Sega Japan since back then.
Peter Moore knew that Sony was throwing nothing but FUD in the air. He says it to this day, right?
Yep.
And he says, oh, no doubt. But remember, Sony price dropped after hearing Saturn price announcement. Now, that's even before, right? That's before the Dreamcast, what Jedi is talking about. And look what I said. Yup. Now, here's the final thing that I said to him. Watch this. And nobody, right, E? Nobody had a problem with what Sony was doing, right? Because that's great old competition. Look at this. Truth. Now, look, if nobody back then cared, my question today is, why do you care today? It was okay for Sony to compete.
Because it's relevant. It's the same thing they're doing now.
Look what's happening now.
History is repeating.
Microsoft is competing. You're only mad because somebody's breaking your little feelings over your console now. And you are realizing what big bank takes little bank is all about. Y'all love to close y'all's ears, close your eyes. But big bank takes little bank. Only idiots think otherwise. You want to know what the real gaming market is? It's banks.
It's mobile.
It's banks.
Yeah, banks.
Money. You want to know who controlling the markets? Your bag. And you gonna sit up here and really think that a multi-$100 company, right, can mess with a multi-$trillion company? It just doesn't even make any sense. Microsoft does not have to be number one in the gaming market.
Nope.
You mean console market?
Even more detailed.
You said Microsoft or Xbox?
Microsoft.
Number one in the console.
No, yeah, Microsoft doesn't. No.
Right? Because Microsoft overall, when you put everything all businesses do in the whole entire world, right? Microsoft is third. So what the Microsoft can be number 8 in the gaming industry, but be number 1 in the bag. Embracer don't make more money than Microsoft in that bag. Tencent don't make more money than Microsoft in that bag. They make more than Nintendo and Sega and Sony. This is what people got to understand. You never see the kingpin. Why? Because it's the kingpin that's controlling everything. The only people you're going to see
is a henchman.
That's right. And the enforcers.
Yeah.
That's who you see. You don't see the kingpins. When you look, man, it's crazy for people to think, right? But they don't get it, Six Slayer. Tencent, you don't move around in the Eastern world without Tencent. All right? You can run freely around Sony. Sony is not big time. Sony ain't big time around in this world anymore. That's been long gone. Yo, Samsung kicked Sony out of Japan. Go read about it.
Nintendo too.
Man, yo, let me tell you something, man, about Nintendo. They cracked me up, right? Because Nintendo is that nice little guy that walks around with a smile on his face. He's well kept. He's got some penny loafers on, but he got this big old Rambo knife behind his back. And when you turn your back on him, he just slices you down, bro. And everybody just thinks Nintendo is just this lovely little place to be. Unlimited, what's good,
They
baby?
savages behind the scenes.
They savages, bro.
What's
You
that
know
dude?
what I'm saying?
Coney. Nintendo's like Coney's kids.
Right.
You know,
And
over in
Nintendo-
Africa.
That's right.
War dogs.
War dogs. And Nintendo silently kicked Sony up out of Japan. They competed. These articles lied to y'all.
And
These
ran to
articles
California.
gave y'all a sense of an accomplishment that never existed. Never existed. What just happened? See, you got to understand something how Sony works, right, Games Heroes? They just had to settle with the Linux thing on PlayStation 3. They just lost that. Notice what else they going to lose. They ain't want to tell y'all, right? They lied about the PlayStation 4's being a 1080p console. And you know what? You donkeys did last year, and you ran with it. Y'all don't know no better. Just last year, they had to settle out with that lie, right? We found out that PlayStation 4 failed in Japan. They only sold 10 million consoles. 10. And y'all wonder why today none of these damn gaming articles got Japan in their mouth. They ain't got no Japan in their mouth for you today. Japan don't exist no more. Why is that? Donkeys, tell me, why is that? Y'all always come up with an excuse. Oh, well, it's a chip shortage. How much longer you gonna say that?
Yo,
That's
well,
That's
wanna
what
talk
you
about
want to
PlayStation
believe.
excuses.
Here's the facts. What if I tell you that Sony didn't invest for those chips? That's the problem. See, you looking at what's being presented to you, but I'm telling you what happened before it got presented to you. They didn't invest. You know why they didn't? Because they see the numbers with you clowns. Why would they invest in something when they know you ain't buying the shit?
Yep.
You see what I'm saying, Six Slayer? All
They
comes
sold
out.
their own. They seal their own fates. After
They
all
see
this
it.
talk and bluster, they
Facts.
don't buy the games.
Facts.
They don't. Sony has said this and has alluded to it, and you don't even have to do your homework that well to see it. A platform that has sold 117 million to 120 million systems. For God of War to get that few in comparison, because 15, 20 million is great. But when you sold 120 million systems, your top games really don't even hit, what, 50 million? But like, you would think even the other big names, Ratchet and Clank, all those other big ones, they don't hit nothing. Returnal did half a million.
First of all,
They don't even hit a million, bro.
They don't even
But
hit
first
a
of all-
million.
first of
Exactly.
all-
Returnal, 500,000.
First of all, Ratchet and Clank is not even a big hit anymore. Because think about
Anymore,
it.
exactly.
No, never. It wasn't.
When was it ever?
Yeah, it was never a big hit. I'm gonna tell you why it was
Okay.
never really a big hit.
I don't
Because
care why. I just know it wasn't.
yeah, it wasn't. You know why? Because a lot of people never played Ratchet and Clank during the PS3 era. All right,
PS2
how many
era.
Ratchet and Clank they had on PS4 era? One. So it was never was a like
One
a
or two.
huge. Yeah, it was never a huge franchise. They just met the shit out of it, in my opinion. How many Ratchet and Clank games have? Like 16, 17 in the main series?
On
And none of
PS2?
these games, and none of these games were like system sellers. Like I never see anybody go out there have a PlayStation to buy Ratchet and Clank.
They tried to attach themselves to the success of the PS2 with these titles. They're out there. Yeah, they came and they're exclusive and all of that. You see, they always talk about exclusive, right? Because that was a narrative to them. That doesn't even apply anymore now, right? It hasn't for years, right? But when the Xbox platform as a whole was at its lowest point, right? Because they had no exclusive, they had no this, they had no that. That was the metric that they would use to step on us when we were down. right? So even now when it doesn't apply, they still say it. They still say Xbox has no games when that hasn't applied for a long time neither, right?
Nah, they never had any games because I'm playing no games on my Xbox.
Right? Exactly. I don't know what I'm doing with this Xbox. No wonder it's so quiet.
I'm
I must
playing
not be
Ground
playing
Right.
games.
I'm playing.
It's the same reason Twisted Metal is not around anymore.
Oh, yeah, Twisted Metal been dead for
They
years.
stopped
They
playing it.
yeah.
Stopped playing it.
That's why that one
and
call
David
action
Jassy-
game they
buy
gave away
it.
for free.
They didn't buy.
Right.
Yeah, there
They
you
didn't
go.
buy it.
They didn't
And,
buy it.
and David Jassy really admit that, like, you know, the other Twisted Metal they made, the reboot, it flopped so bad
Yep.
that Sony had to shut down the studio.
Yeah,
Yep.
was that like in 2012?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was his last big title, I think. And then he left after that, right? He
No.
left the industry.
His last big title was a game called Drawn to Death, and that game got
Right.
50.
Now,
That game got a
trash.
54. That game
Right.
was trash. Yeah.
That one died, and then he was done.
No, that game died like in 3 months, and they shut down the servers.
Yep. And then he was done. And then
And he was done.
right? So he left on, I would say, like not bad terms with Sony, but just, you know,
He didn't leave on a high note.
He didn't leave on a high note. Thank you. That's the term I'm looking for. Thank you. But it just goes to show, you know, they tried to live off the success of the PS2 by putting these titles out there, you know, by paying to keep them off of Xbox, but they're not buying them on PlayStation either. And that's why these publishers were taking the money, because they didn't think Xbox would sell either, but they didn't know the Xbox player base to understand that, yeah, those games would sell. So these publishers took the Sony money, knowing they're not going to get the money on PlayStation and thinking they weren't going to get them on Xbox, right? But now with Game Pass and everything, they see it, but sometimes they just want to take that quick, fast money with these blocking rights that Sony is still doing, right? You know, because we see a lot of these companies, they don't use anything that I like to call logic. You know, that space between their ears where your brain is supposed to be, they don't use that quite often, and they see the easy money because they worried about this quarter, not thinking about the next quarter and the quarter after that, and not making moves to keep making money every quarter. And I'm saying all this because I want to transition into the next big topic that everybody's been talking about this past weekend, and that's Game Pass. Now, we know the whole thing with the Cade situation, and you know how Brazil dropped their opinion. Now, that was something that was spoken on the week before. And, you know, point number 4 and point number 5 were the two big ones, you know, the mic drop moments. But see, Brazil and the way they do things, their stuff is kind of, I want to say, for lack of a better term, open source. So after they did their whole investigation and they gave the thumbs up to Microsoft for the acquisition, they sat there and they broke it down with their report, right? But with that report comes all the evidence, all the research, all that stuff comes with it. It's public knowledge for everyone to see, right? So with that, now we come to find out Game Pass, $2.9 billion in revenue, right?
Oh,
now, of course,
wait a minute. I've seen ponies.
I was just about to get into that.
Ooh,
I was just about to get into that, but I just want to name one, and I'm gonna pass it right to you, Games Hero, because I know you hot on this one, bro. But yo, there is one pony in particular I got to name this clown, King Thrash. Listen, I was on K Mega's podcast years ago when this dude came on. I think I explained the situation behind that on a previous episode. But you know, I've mentioned many times my tactic on Twitter is if you're a pain in my ass, you're being a pony or whatever kind of, you know, annoying person, I don't block you, because people like that love to take that block and then parade it all over Twitter and be like, look, I annoyed him enough, he blocked me. You know, that's what they really mean. But what they say is, oh, look, he can't, you know, match what I'm saying, blah, blah, blah. So I just mute them, right? But King Thrash, I blocked that mother. You know what I'm saying? He was the dumb. And then somehow, some way, K Mega got into it with him. So he invites, and so he had him on King Thrash's show. Of course, you know, they jumped him as they do, right? They verbally jumped him. But you know, now that they did that to him, King Thrash came on to K Mega's podcast. And K Mega is telling me beforehand, hey, King Thrash is going to be on the podcast. King Thrash, dude, I just got into it with this dude. I just blocked him the other day. So now they're all waiting on me to come check this dude. Now you go back and you listen to that episode, right? And oh my God, so much stuff I wanted to say, they wouldn't let me say it, but it doesn't even matter about that. That dude proved himself to be one of the stupidest dudes in the gaming community wholesale. Now, Games Heroes, brother, I know you're about to name a bunch of these situations, but please do me a favor and start on this aspect of what that clown had to say. Because for real, if I get in on it, I'm gonna start cursing. I really don't want to have to.
Yeah,
Games Heroes, you there, bro?
Look, no, he might be on the pod or something. But look,
No, you can hear me. Oh, my bad, my mute was Mike. My bad.
Okay.
No, he blocked me, man. It's funny that this man, you don't take that man serious, because that wasn't his. What's a game called? The Round Table. Yeah, man. My listen, man. I went on the Round Table 3 times. My intelligence, my brain cells, basically, was dying. So, and I think I forgot what the tweet was. I said, King Trash, you don't play no goddamn games, dude. And he blocked me. I was laughing, dude. Nah, listen, don't take that dude serious. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to piss people off. Because at the end of the day, Trash.
No. He's not trying to piss people off. He's legit a moron. No, I'm pretty sure. Volcanoing, the stupid math. He puts up 18 divided by 4. He can't even answer that. He says stupid things all the time. He literally is not too bright. Let's not. You see, I'm trying not to curse, but I'm going to keep this a buck. He's pretty goddamn stupid. This is clear. It's not an act. He's stupid for real. Everybody sees it. He should stay off the internet because there are people in whole YouTube channels that are making money off of how stupid this dude is. Okay? They're getting super chats and people to be, watching live streams. Alex and Fratanga and all those dudes, they clown this dude on a constant, consistent basis. And they making money off of this dude's name. Alex, says that, all this YouTube money he's making, he's saving for his kid to go to school. I guarantee you, off of King Thrash alone, his son can go to whatever school he ever wants to go to with no financial issues. He should thank King Thrash for his son having the opportunity to be whatever he wants to be in life. That's a fact. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not lying. If y'all has been around to hear this dude talk, to see what's going on with that dude, I am not lying. I'm not exaggerating. The truth he does sound drunk a lot of the time. But we know dudes like that in the hood who aren't too bright. He's below even that. Okay? Honestly, I'm not exaggerating. Y'all can tell because you see him in action. Volcanoing. That's a meme forevermore. Gamers across the gaming landscape who aren't even involved in console warring at all know that meme, volcanoing, but don't even know to associate it with King Thrash. That's how pervasive, that's how stupid this clown is, right?
Yeah, but, you know what volcanoing, right? Means really?
Yeah.
I want to say it.
If y'all feel like the dude is stupid, why y'all give him energy? Look.
No, I'm giving the energy.
I told him so many times.
A litany of
he's supposed to be a troll. Look, he's supposed to be a troll. But he's not even good.
Yeah, I don't give that dude.
He's not good.
He's not even good at the job. He's shown y'all that he can't even use a calculator. He can't even add and subtract with a calculator, and y'all still give him energy.
Yes,
my point is he's just an example of one of many.
Look, man, but he's one of the main clowns that's just blocked his quote unquote Xbox partner, right?
Yep.
Look, these dudes are gonna have to be amongst themselves. There's nowhere for them to go. There's nothing for them to talk about. And they can't. When God of War drops, and a week later they'll be waiting for Spider-Man to come out in 2023, and it'll be out in 2024.
At best.
They better love Square because that's what they're gonna get next year. These dudes are running out of talking points. They're running out of narratives, and the narratives are so stupid that you can't do nothing but laugh and shake your head. But y'all go argue with these idiots.
Yep. Okay. But speaking of Square, right? So I'm arguing with some dude idiot talking about right now and back and forth with I'm playing Grounded on my PC. He says that Grounded is garbage, but he's playing that Valkyrie. What's it called? The Valkyrie game, the new Valkyrie
Profile.
It was trash. Whatever it was.
That shit is trash. But hold on, he said that was a
Is it
banger.
Valkyrie Elysium or something like that?
Yeah,
Elysium.
yeah, something like that. Okay, if Groundless is trash, and that Valkyrie game is a banger to him, and you're saying that is Groundless a trash game, you got low standards, dude. That's what it is. But see, that's why you don't argue with idiots. And because what he's trying to do is, look, every time Xbox makes a game, right, it has to be on their standards. You got to be open world. You got to be an action
linear.
Yeah, you got to be action adventure type game and all that stuff. If the game has
with stealth elements
and the bow and arrow, and if you require all these elements, it's a good game. If it doesn't, it's trash. Grounded got an 80. Grounded got an 85 on Metacritic. Grounded got an 85 on Metacritic. The Valkyrie game
is even better than that. The game got to score 90 or above for it to be a good game.
Yeah,
but they don't have any this generation then.
Not at all.
Right.
Because see, look. That's why I got irritated with y'all last time we did a show, because y'all let them tell us and go argue with them that their games are better when they don't have not a one shooter. It's to the point to where their CEO, president, whoever he is on a world tour begging for them to not let Call of Duty come to Xbox and Microsoft. Right? They have zero multiplayer games, zero multiplayer presence. But you guys let them tell y'all, even your favorite Xbox YouTuber, God of War is the game of the generation and all this other.
No. One said God of War is the greatest game of all time. Legal, you saw that post?
It's all bull crap.
At it.
It's all bull crap. But they don't have an equivalent to Halo. They don't have an equivalent to Gears. Now
Forza, frankly.
Now
was not the equal of Forza.
It's a comp, but we stomping on them. It's a comp. You know what I'm saying? There's a comparison. They don't have anything like Grounded. The first day that Microsoft announced they're buying Minecraft, Sony jumped on the phone. Are you taking it from PlayStation? You know what I'm saying? They have zero community games.
But you know why though? Because if Microsoft did take up our Minecraft or PlayStation, that could kill Sony.
But I would have hurt the last generation.
Yeah. See, Microsoft paints way too many knives, man. But see, I says again, right? Starfield could get a 92. Forza could get a 95. Freaking Redfall could get a 90. Redfall. Pentiment could get a 94. Grinding right now has an 85. And I think A Dust Falls got a 77, right? These guys will call these games trash. But these guys gonna hype up.
You
how many
God of War to them when they do?
But how many God of War games they out there now? Let's say this is like the 16th God of War game, right? But these are the same guys
it ain't that many, but there's a lot of ratchets.
But they said that Xbox got Halo, Gears, and Forza. Dude, you have God of War, The Last of Us, Uncharted. That's it. You don't have any other big franchise, and these franchises.
I don't want to cut you off, but you know the problem is, man. The problem is last generation, Xbox was in the middle of a pivot. All right, I said this so many times. Xbox was in the middle of a pivot. They weren't releasing anything. Right. The best we had was buggy. Even though I loved it, State of Decay 2.
Yeah.
Right. And we had an empty ass Sea of Thieves. And Microsoft was not releasing games. They were buying studios. But in the midst of that, Sony dropped The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima back to back to critical acclaim. And the fact that Microsoft was doing so bad, those games looked even better.
Right.
But those days are over. Those days are over.
Oh, and another aspect too, the press. We cannot.
Hey, but we had Ori. We got what? Gears, Tactics.
But you really gonna put that up against Ghost of Tsushima?
Nah, we're not.
No, but
all right. I'm just saying
that.
Let's keep it straight up on that.
Like the press though is a major factor. Like They weren't giving Xbox the time of the day. You could see even in their rhetoric, something was up, even with the press, Digital Foundry, all of that. I mean, okay, the press when it comes to reviews is kind of different now, but Digital Foundry is still on their stank. People still finding contradictory things they say all the time, right? It's how do you see the truth when it's never presented to you, when all you presented to is lies, right? This is why I always said you don't need the press to tell you that Xbox is already winning. You don't need the press to tell you that. When you have games to play, when they're higher average rated, when there's so many games to play, you don't know what to do next. Even in this supposed dry season, when I've seen a couple of folks saying that Game Pass ain't offering them too much here, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? We just got through a pandemic and people barely scratch their backlogs. Y'all always just checklist gamer. I swear to God, y'all looking for new stuff. And it's even in the Xbox community I was seeing this. Gamers love to complain because they're not getting something new, but they already got something new that they only put 15 minutes into, right? And I'm guilty of that too, but I'm guilty of not really scratching as much as my backlog as I want to, but my Steam Deck is damn sure helping with that, number one. Number two, I don't sit there and pretend like I don't have games to play that Game Pass just because they're having a month that's not as crazy as the month prior that didn't have no games to play. I have so many games to play. If I don't get a new game for a whole month, ain't nothing going to change for me. Ain't nothing going to change for you, right? But you know what? That dry period is about to end. It's about to be a litany or wave that just won't stop. What are they going to say then? What minus clueless crap of it? I don't even know. And you know what? I think Realist is right. Who cares? Play your games. Play y'all's games. Do that. We have community. It's in our dashboard, right? It's in our system. Realist was talking about they have no community games. They have no community, period. Of course they're not going to have no community games. They had Street Fighter. You know, the FGC is a community that tries so hard to be a community, right? They have their own everything. They have people to announce, you know, competitions, right? To narrate what's going on, all of that, right? And we have a bit of that in the FPS community, right? And that's mainly Xbox. But what does PlayStation have in that regard, right? When it comes to community, people playing together. Look at these PlayStation Plus numbers. Once again, 120 million systems sold, but how many of them were even online to be a part of community with? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's why you got to look at what they're doing now, right? They waited all these years to decide that now they want to start making multiplayer games.
12 of them.
You know what I'm saying? Like all this time, you know, people have been killing Microsoft about just making these multiplayer games. And now look at Sony. How much time are they going to have for these movie games? These studios, look at, man, they're going to make a multiplayer Horizon.
Oh, man, who wants that?
I mean, people didn't even want to play the single player. They had to bundle it. So now you're going to make a multiplayer. People didn't care about Ghost of Tsushima Legends or whatever it's called.
Yeah, really. So do you play it though? No, do you play Horizon?
Yeah.
That shit was boring as hell.
It's not one of the better RPGs out there. Put it like that. It's not. But the thing is, I'm saying is, look, they announced that they had Returnal multiplayer. They talked about that for 2 days. I mean, people had to buy the game for there to be a multiplayer community.
Yeah, because it's standalone multiplayer. There's not real multiplayer. Like Ghost of Tsushima Legends, that's not a multiplayer game. It's a standalone. That like they added on, just like the Uncharted 4 multiplayer, the Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer. That's like I don't consider these games competitive multiplayer. Like Gears, Halo, Sea of Thieves, Grounded, or give me another one for Xbox. So like Doom and everything. These are like no, listen, I'm on Twitter for all these years, right? I never see one person play that Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer. Not one. Nobody uploads anything. Nobody uploads no videos, no armor set, anything.
I didn't even know it had a multiplayer.
I didn't know it had a multiplayer.
Because guess what? Microsoft has been raising the bar, and even you bots won't acknowledge them. When Xbox brings out a game, it comes with both modes. It comes with single player and multiplayer, day one.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Last of Us 2 came out, and we still waiting for. I'm not waiting for it, but people are still waiting for factions 3 years later. It'll be 4 years that they've been waiting for factions by the time it drops.
And it's not even coming out next year.
Legends came out probably about a year after Ghost was out. You see what I'm saying? And how long did it take for them to add multiplayer? But we're killing Halo. We're killing Halo as an Xbox community for making the game co-op and not being able to do what they needed, what we think that they were supposed to do.
But
the other community well, we're not them. We don't need to accept mediocrity, bro. They made that game. They made that game open world that introduces a whole other list of variables. And if they couldn't get it to work, they couldn't get it to work. But at the end of the day, I'm blaming Microsoft for that too. But for real this time, because they should have started buying studios during the Xbox 360 era when they were dominating. Yeah, but they didn't. So now we start a new generation. Halo's on the box, but Halo's not ready. But we still got to push them. We'll give them a year. That's a corporate move. We'll give them a year. We need this. No, Halo should be dropping right now. Right? But we're killing Halo. We riding out on Halo to the point where goofy rumors saying that they're going to Unreal Engine and flying because people are goofy as hell. All right? I told y'all that was
and you can
crap.
tell that was a bullshit rumor. You know why? Especially because that was the conjecture amongst the community before the rumor came out. That's how you know
y'all bought that. Now, I ain't gonna say you, but I'm saying you bots. Y'all bought that crap because y'all so down on Halo because y'all don't know how to appreciate and celebrate what we have over here.
Exactly.
Right? And Halo does more than any other game. They set up here and cap for 2042, and it was trash when it dropped, and it didn't even have a campaign.
Thank you. Right? That's what I was going to say.
Halo's also trying to make this game into a free-to-play. Yeah, they dropped the ball. But appreciate the ambition.
Yes.
All we do is dump on Xbox as Xbox fans and thinking that stuff's appreciated up in corporate, whatever. You know what I'm saying? If the game is trash, don't play it. Because guess what? They're going to try to figure out why nobody's playing these games.
I'm going to give you
after a while, you just look like a bitching all the time like that.
Exactly. I'm going to give you a perfect example of exactly what you're talking about. Because it was the poll, and you must have seen it too, because you mentioned 2042. Okay, what was the question in the poll when they asked between those two games? Which one is more broken? Halo or 2042? It's like
42.
Exactly.
Halo's not broken. Halo lacks content.
And that's exactly what I responded. I'm like, who the hell would vote for Halo? And Halo fans did this. The same people you're talking about, realists, that's exactly the same morons that we have to deal with in our own community. Like 2042 is literally broken. Halo isn't broken. It's missing content. That's the point of contention with the Halo community. How do y'all speak English? You make us all look bad. You make Halo look bad. You hurt. You see, because this is what they hear from the people. And so now they have to base their moves off of the reaction when the reaction isn't even right in that way. You know what I'm saying? It's not about right or wrong, but it's not accurate to the situation. Nobody's opinion is worth anything if they were fed lies and then you ask them their opinion.
But guess what?
That opinion is worthless.
Yeah, very few Xbox fans to know what's really going on and address it accordingly like you did.
Right.
I didn't see the poll. I just see the narratives and I see the dumb crap.
About the
poll,
right.
Let me address Dr. Vodka real quick. He said that we don't have narrative games. Halo has an outstanding narrative. And they thought that the series was good enough that people would be interested in the novels. But people didn't read the novels. That's why I left things out of like Halo 5 and things like that. They assumed they bring you Halo Tactics. People didn't want to play it, but there's big pieces of the story. There's a lot of narrative there. There's a lot of narrative in Gears of War. But y'all want these movie games. But guess what? You know, you got what's that In Exile? You got Ninja Theory. They're gonna bring you some movie games.
But no, Exile doesn't make movie games. They make RPG.
No, In Exile is not doing what they normally do. They're doing something totally different. They got a brand new pad. I would want to work there. It looks like Google in there. They got lounge chairs and a bar. Like they leveled up all the way. They're not, and they're making AAA game. They're not making Bard's Tale. So yeah, it's going to be totally different. And everybody, when you ask them from Greenberg to Phil Spencer, they're hyping this game up early. We don't know what it is.
But they got 2 games though. You know that, right? They got 2 games in development.
I just know about the one that everybody keeps talking about whenever they have an interview, and nobody knows the name of that game. They just we're the most excited about this game. So yeah, but we know that Hellblade is gonna be a straight up movie game.
Yeah, that's a movie game. I didn't like the first Hellblade. It's not for me.
But I wasn't raised up on Xbox playing movie games, so that's not what I come to Xbox for.
Yeah, I'm not.
Right.
If you like Hellblade, that's more power to you. Ain't for me.
So all you bots crying about these
People
movie games,
don't
go buy
like
a PlayStation.
shooters anymore. It's very niche. Halo. What
No,
are you
that's
talking
crazy,
about?
bro. Look at
Yo,
Doom.
I'm seeing 2 people in the chat here saying some just horrendous
Oh
stuff.
no. That's not those donkeys.
Yeah.
I see them.
Yep. That's the one thing. Because yo, you're asking me what's wrong with what's broken about 2042 right now. 2042 came out broken. Halo was never. We already established this. What's broken about 2042 right now? You know what? I really don't know. But what I do know is I look in my Steam thing because I follow it, and they continually show bug fixes every day. It's a new patch announcement. There's another one right there today that I saw. Right? You cannot say that at all in comparison to what we're talking about. Halo isn't broken. It's missing content. 2042 was broken, and we could see it from the demo. What's broken about it right now? I don't know. I hope not much because I want to start playing it real soon. Right?
Mm-hmm. You can play it for low.
But Halo, people aren't into arena shooters. Don't look into the Steam numbers. Okay, this is the other thing. To get back on the topic about the Game Pass 2.9 billion thing, right? This is just another example of what we were talking about with that, right? Like,
it had nothing to do with PC. Speak on it.
Right, it had nothing to do with PC. That's a Halo game. That's an Xbox game. Halo is on PC, and PC dudes are happy to play it. But PC dudes got decades worth of content that they can play at any given time. So many games that they still play, that's still active, that are probably older than you.
But see,
older than you've ever been alive.
That's sick as this. Whatever PC gamers get on Steam or wherever they choose, those games are snacks to them.
Yep. The
PC community actually builds communities, unlike the PlayStation community. So what's funny is that the place that has no community wants to show people that have communities what their game is doing on another platform. Like, y'all can't, I would say do better than that, but y'all can't do better than that. That's normal activity over there.
Horizon outperformed Halo Infinite by Metacritic. Why would you say that? And then you're like, you never said that Halo wasn't broken. Don't get into the little nitty-gritty of what you're saying, because we already peeped what you are, dude. So just stop with that. All right. But back on topic, the Game Pass 2.9 billion. So of course I got into that tension with King Thrash. But my point was, he's an example. He's the worst example, but they're all like that, just to a lesser degree, because that's the dumbest of the dumb right there. That dude can't even speak proper English, right? But we see these other PlayStation fanboys, the Porter Rocks, all of those dudes. I don't even know the countless names because I'm too busy muting them, right? But their reaction to the 2.9 billion in revenue. Colt Eastwood said something that I really liked, He was like, that's basically $3 billion, right? And this was in 2021. Heaven forbid we know what the numbers are now, right? Average AAA is $100 million. That's 30 AAA, big AAA, because that's $100 million per game, right? That they can make off of that profit alone. I mean, the revenue, whatever you want to call it, the revenue alone, right? Remember,
Yeah, as
who
revenue.
was the richest man in the world? Bill Gates, and had been for a long time off of that Microsoft money. Okay, and Microsoft is back around making that big money again in all aspects, right? I think you need to fall back and think about what company y'all's talking about before you start saying anything, okay? Because the amount of money there, and this is just this is from 2021. Things move on. More and more people are buying games on Xbox. We're seeing the numbers. Grounded is doing crazy. There's over 20 million people on Sea of Thieves. Okay, what's the number on Grounded now? What's the numbers on Grounded now?
Here's the bottom line with
10
that.
million
Here's the
or
bottom
11
line.
10
with that.
million plus.
Let me go ahead and TKO this whole service thing. We just found out basically that a 4-year-old service killed off a damn 12-year-old service.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically the bottom line. And so now that y'all know that, y'all want to start trying to tell people like me, well, what's the profit? Well, Microsoft didn't give me the profit. I don't know. And
The only reason you even know this is because of the
so
Brazil thing.
I flipped it on them. Look, here's an article about PlayStation Plus revenue. So tell me about what they made on the profit. They can't. So
Of course not.
it goes back to y'all stupidity. Y'all. There's a lot of people really don't know or still haven't learned how to deal with donkeys. Like, there's no reason to get upset with them. You got to understand that their retarded logic comes from being lied to. And anytime they start to see truth, it's like a disorder. All right. It's not us. We're not the problem. It's the truth is the problem to them. So that's why they always got to start asking questions when they start bro, I don't know what the hell Microsoft made a profit off of. Neither do you with PlayStation Plus, because you can't go on the internet, find it. All right. But here's one thing that I do know is that PlayStation Plus only made millions of dollars. They've been out the longest. Game Pass has made billions of dollars of revenue. And they've been out the shortest. So the prediction came out because there's really no reason to even talk about PlayStation Plus. There's no reason to talk about them. They've already said this. 2023 Game Pass revenue count is going up to over 4 billion. Now, you can look at it like this. You can either use your logic and say, well, where's the profit in that? I get it. Remain dumb, thinking that by remaining dumb, it don't exist. Get it. I get it. We're going to close our eyes and act like we never saw that, right? But look, that doesn't work, right? So here's this is the truth of the matter. As revenue is going up, right? Common sense of a service is to make money. That's the whole point. Microsoft makes more money off services, accessories, content, video games than they do their console. So it's a given, people.
No different than
that
anybody else.
Game Pass makes a profit from Microsoft. That's the given. If it was Xbox, then you donkeys might have had a great debate, a great debatable argument. We're not talking about Xbox the console. We're talking about Game Pass's description. So it's making profit. Phil Spencer told y'all it's making profit. So that's why I threw it up today and TKO the whole matter. Look, all y'all need to know is this. It's making profit, and the revenue count is way more than the PlayStation Plus count. That's all you need to know. What's funny is that PlayStation Plus been out for 12 years. It's been out since 2010.
So just before when they got hacked.
Ain't even reached $1 billion of revenue. Look, and y'all want to throw around the word profit. You ain't even reached $1 billion of revenue. Why is profit even coming out your mouth? We're talking Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. They're not even on the same level.
And if you want to talk profit, PlayStation fans don't buy. That's their whole problem. They're not making money while they're making all the moves.
Wait. Then y'all want to talk profit. But the quarterly came out. Y'all 37% in the hole. Why are y'all talking profit? The PlayStation brand is at a negative 37%. And y'all are out here on Twitter, and y'all got the nerve. Y'all got the audacity. The audacity to pop off about profit. This is why y'all are funny to me. This is because what y'all like, here's what y'all want to do. You want to put people in your make-believe reality. All right? But the problem is you can't get legal in your make-believe reality because I know the reality. The reality is you're in the negative, bro. Y'all in the negative. And y'all out here talking about profit. And y'all wonder why I laugh at you clowns. Like, you at least y'all got to make sense to yourself before you present anything to me. Make sense to yourself. Don't embarrass yourselves like this, man.
That's right, Tally. Activision stock is worth more than Sony right now. I pasted it in the chat earlier. That's the other thing. Activision Blizzard King by itself.
By itself.
Hey, it's making more than is it Sony as a whole, or is it just the PlayStation division? I think it's Sony as a whole.
Itself.
Heroes. But why do you care about
I'm saying Game Heroes? I'm leaving out every other PlayStation service altogether.
Yep.
Make hundreds of millions. If you put all the PlayStation services together, it still doesn't revenue over $1 billion.
Well, but why they care about Xbox is not making a profit? Like okay, fine.
That's their way to make themselves.
Okay. If it's not making a profit, right?
Yeah.
Well, you care. Like these donkeys care about Xbox more than PlayStation. They're trying to flip a whole new narrative.
Yep.
Yesterday, talking about it doesn't matter. The revenue is $2.9 billion, but it's not making a profit. Okay, so what's the profit? Hold on. So what's the profit of PlayStation Plus? What's the profit of PSN?
Look,
he Googled this and he found something from 2017.
Man. Don't do this to yourself.
Don't do this to yourself.
Don't do this to yourself.
And Cole Eastwood, listen. I don't like Cole Eastwood that much. No, I don't like Cole Eastwood that much. But JyzalGamingTV and Cole exposed this shit yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you're trying to flip. Nobody say that Game Pass made a profit. Nobody say that. It says that Game Pass was making $2-3 billion. That's it.
And the only reason we even know that is because of the case in
Brazilian
Brazil. That's the only reason we even know
that. Guess what? They can't lie.
Right.
They can't lie.
They didn't have to lie anyway. So why would they?
You don't understand about corporate, right? One thing about corporate, right, is that you can't lie to your investors.
Nope.
No. You can't. Phil Spencer can't sit down and lie to the investors. They call that man a con artist yesterday, a con man. He's a liar. How the hell Phil Spencer a liar?
Hold on, Game Heroes. See, this is where donkeys. This is why people like Juan have no business talking on any social platform. See, I told y'all the best thing for y'all to do is just shut up, be quiet, and learn. You're coming up with $14 billion. You have the nerve to tell me to go to thegamer.com where it says PSN revenue hits $14 billion. So you don't even know what you're talking about. You don't even know what you're talking about.
So it hit $14 billion, right?
The date, so this, all you gotta do, look, bro, go on the internet, type in.
So what's the profit?
All you gotta do is go on the internet, type these words. Sony made $14 billion from PlayStation Plus and hit it and see what it reads. It's gonna say during its corporate strategy meeting yesterday, Sony Group revealed that the PSN sales, PSN, not PS Plus, currently amount to over $14 billion. That's 1 trillion of 800 billion yen, right? Because they got to flip that currency. So to be precise, across over 100 million accounts. So over 100 million accounts, they made $14 billion, right? We're not talking about that. PSN revenue hits 14 billion. The PlayStation Network has over 100 million active monthly users. That ain't what I said. Either you deaf, dumb, and blind or don't understand how to read. We're talking about Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. When one of you donkeys can show me the profit that Sony makes off of PlayStation Plus, we can carry on this conversation. If you cannot give that to me, which I already know y'all can't because it's not been revealed,
Yep.
then we don't need to respond no more to you. All right? Come in Di-RRec Gaming, talk like you got some sense. You're not going to get over on nobody here. You're not deep enough in gaming. You're not smart enough in gaming. All right? You're getting your sources from a live community. Nobody's taking you seriously, man.
It stinks of desperation that you Googled that and you found something from 2017.
And I already
You
know
find
what
something
did.
from last year or the year before. 2017. That was something you had nothing to do, so you just Googled it and you found the first thing that even smelled like it could be in the right direction. You found 2017, and this is exactly what was happening all weekend, particularly yesterday.
Bro,
right?
He went. The one he tried to sneak up on, right, was in May of 2022. Sick.
Oh man, they went that low, man.
But either way, as was said, before we even knew any specifics, and we barely even know more specifics than we did before. Phil Spencer already told us it's profitable.
Yeah, he told us already.
Nobody was sweating. This was on nobody's minds until they just fell in our laps, because that's what happened, right? It fell in our laps over a side thing, and it took a week because this Cade report came out last week. Everybody was focused on what it was actually there for, and then somebody went looking through all the details to see whatever was there, and they found a little nugget of information that would be worth knowing to people, right? And this is where we got this number from. Nobody was even checking for that. Everybody long since assumed that Game Pass was making this money, right? So, and this is old numbers from last year. Imagine what it is now. Imagine what it is now. Because this year, listen, last year was just PlayStation getting mollywopped.
There's 25
this year
million
they competed
people.
early on this year, but ever since then, it's been quiet from Sony generally, right?
There's 25 million people subscribed to Game Pass, right? So now I don't know the official numbers now, but I think it went up to at least 35 million.
And
because
what E3 DLC and stuff, none of that is even represented at all with that.
So remember when the E3 they had an E3, I think they had a good E3 too. Yes. You know, they have a lot of gaming Game Pass. Like the biggest ones are like the Personas, the Stalkers, the Groundeds, and all that stuff, right? So a lot of people are excited to see these games. And remember, you know, PlayStation reckon them coming out next week in Game Pass. A lot of people at the first game, so you know, I think there's like at least 35 million. So they're gonna announce it soon in the next fiscal year of their yeah. Now, Phil Spencer is not a liar. He can't lie to the investors. All right. If you lie to the investors, believe it or not, you could get arrested, in my opinion.
Well, listen, all these CEOs, when they can't say the facts outright, they allude to it without being dishonest, but they're being disingenuous, right? They won't say what the details are. They'll just say something that's true without giving away what they don't want to be known. So technically they're not lying, but they don't really answer your question or give you what you really want to know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or
why should they?
Or more specifically, what they don't want to reveal, right? But this is what backs up what he's saying. Right. But this is what backs up what he's saying, because they're not lying, so they just won't say certain things. But during the investor calls and all of that, that's when that has to come out. Remember last year
they don't even have to talk about my Xbox then. Xbox is not a pillar of Microsoft.
Nope.
Right? This is what Satya said. And when he said these words, I told y'all on this show, the game is about to change.
Yep.
When Satya, first off, Xbox fans were excited to see the CEO back in Microsoft because we never seen that before, going back to what Dr. Vaca said earlier with the old regime trying to sabotage Xbox.
That's right.
So when Satya said that we want Xbox to be a pillar of Microsoft, I don't think the Xbox community really understands what that means. It was a side chick. It was a side project. It was the redheaded stepchild before, right? It was a project. It was something they were never fully committed to. So when they have investor calls, they lump it all together. Why?
Yep.
Because when people invest in Microsoft, they don't invest in Microsoft or Xbox. They invest for Azure, Windows, maybe even LinkedIn. Right?
Yeah.
And the other new company they just bought for $19 billion last year, Nuance. These are the things that they look at. But Microsoft wants Xbox to be a pillar. But about this Gamepass $2.9 billion, I'm not impressed.
Right.
And I don't think Microsoft is either.
Because they don't care.
So,
that wasn't the point.
And so
anyway.
as long as they're not impressed, I'm glad. Because guess what? There's going to be more tears flowing in these streets. Right?
Yep, because
I'm not impressed
that they need to get more motivated.
Xbox isn't impressed, so Microsoft knows they need to do more. Right?
Yep.
We don't hear these numbers because they aren't growing at a rapid rate. Because I bet you can bet your ass if it hit 35 million, they'd be talking about it like they did at 25.
Yep.
But since they're determined to get these numbers up, we're gonna get these Activisions in. We're gonna get more of these day one Game Pass deals in there. We're gonna get some Japanese studios for you Japanese game cappers, right? These games that barely hit 1 million on a high, right? But we're going to get these games until they get to the numbers they want to get to. They're not impressed. I'm not impressed. So I don't give a care about what kind of numerology that these dudes make up when their platform is on the verge of being on the chopping block. Apple or Google trying to team up with them so they can buy them later.
Yep.
Told y'all, man, this generation is over. The sooner y'all recognize it, the better. The better conversations we can have around this stuff. Because catering to their conversations, when they know that they're on the short end,
it makes my brain hurt. It really does. Oh, and the other thing too, you were talking about earlier when you were talking about the redheaded stepchild. Because it's true. All the trials and tribulations that Xbox has went through throughout its entire existence. This is the mollywhopping that people expected from Microsoft 20 years ago when they first brought Xbox onto the scene, when people were actually hateful of Microsoft and it wasn't just the Linux nerds, right? When people really hated Microsoft, when they were cutthroat and vicious, and they just had beaten the government and almost was split up as a monopoly, okay? And they thought they were going to do all that stuff to the gaming industry, and people were afraid and didn't want Microsoft there to do that. Now they could do some of those things, within reason, right? Now the bank book is open. The wallet is open. They need to make acquisitions to make things better for their plans in the future to make that profit, that revenue that they're not really sweating right that much because it's really not impressing them. It's not impressing them for a reason. They got bigger plans, bigger vision. Okay,
Thanks.
When Satya Nadella said what he said about let them compete, and he said it with that swagger, that smile on his face, you know what it meant to Xbox fans and what meant to PlayStation fans who was like, oh snap, it's real now. If you didn't think it was real before, it's on and popping now. Okay,
speak on it.
This is not like Vladimir Putin, and he keeps talking that wild talk about nuclear weapons, knowing full well he can never use them because that's mutually assured destruction. MAD, go look that up, right? He can never do that. He talks that big talk. Microsoft can actually do what they talk about with their money, okay? That was a nuclear bomb announcement when it came out that they're looking to buy Activision. People were like, whoa, outside of the gaming industry, because they know how big of a deal Call of Duty is, okay? Your grandmama knows about Candy Crush and all those games that King makes, which is probably their real play, not this Call of Duty stuff and all this Xbox related stuff. Because remember, they only just now really started to focus and invest in Xbox the way they should have did 20 years ago. The real classic play is King Games, that mobile money, that big money. Your mama, your grandmama, your aunties playing those games left and right on their cell phones, making buku bucks. That's what the real play is. You think Call of Duty is something to worry about? Boy, ha!
Hey, but
This is not a game no more.
Going back to what you said, like they didn't want
But the
Microsoft
last CEO
to be a
never.
monopoly. Real quick, it's not that they didn't worry about Microsoft, right? Because if it was Sony, they'd be cheering in the streets, right?
Exactly.
It's that their favorite platform wasn't monopolizing. But but real quick, man, I know you want to talk game, but look, they have every right to be afraid of Microsoft. They should go to a third panel for this deal, because Microsoft is about to bring the industry to its knees. Because for all these years, they've been at the mercy of the media, PlayStation.
Yep.
Right. And now PlayStation is whining. They don't know what they're going to do without Call of Duty. Buying up every time deal that they can. Keeping them out of Japan with some games that released here. Right. They get regional exclusivity. All this has to come to a stop, and that's what Sony doesn't want. Pay for crossplay. 12%. Microsoft is going to squeeze them where it hurts.
Yep.
Microsoft isn't afraid of a 12% split. And that's what Sony doesn't want. That's what Sony sees coming. And that's why they're crying. But once they get it, because there's really no case. There's no case. And once Microsoft takes more of the market share and they're only charging 12%, where the developers going to go? I'm out.
Yep.
Yeah, the last CEO never really back up Microsoft. This is the first time, and these ponies somehow, Microsoft needs to compete. Microsoft needs to do this, and I told them I don't want Microsoft to compete, because if Microsoft started competing, that's not Xbox. Microsoft is not Xbox. Microsoft is bigger than Sony. You're facing a corporation has trillions of dollars. And I told them last generation, you don't want that. Because if you want Microsoft to compete now, they're going to start buying studios. They're going to start doing all the shit. I predicted on my own account. And what happened? Look what happened. And now they're crying. Oh, it's a monopoly. Oh, we don't want, people calling the president because, Microsoft is buying these studios and this and that. These ponies made Microsoft like this. And how many consoles Xbox has? 4, right? The 4 consoles in generations, right? They're the game industry for 20 years. Now this is the first time in 20 years Microsoft, the parent company, is backing up on Xbox. The reason why they didn't do it in the first 3 consoles, because the Xbox division is very small. Like, it's not a huge division. They don't make money off the Xbox. That generation, they was about to sell the Xbox division to somebody else. Now, Nintendo come out and say, listen, I'm a software guy. I'm going to back up the Xbox. Because he's seen a lot of players that he's seen money in this thing. So, and I agree with really still, because Microsoft should have bought studios in the 360 era, but it couldn't do that because back then Microsoft never really backing them up. Microsoft was just, and yeah, they did both studios in the 360 era, but they were small studios.
Yeah,
but
towards the end there, they had the dummies in charge.
Yeah, they show up.
That's what people keep forgetting.
Hold on, read this.
The people in charge were not console oriented.
Yeah, the biggest opportunity they actually they actually didn't bought. It was BioWare. Imagine Microsoft did bought BioWare doing the Xbox 360. We own Mass Effect. We remember Microsoft published Mass Effect.
Yes.
We used to own that, but the problem is that Microsoft never owned the IP. But imagine Microsoft bought freaking BioWare. Now they have Bethesda. Obsidian, they will be
All
the
of
kid right
ZeniMax.
now. They'll be a powerhouse. There will be a
And they didn't
powerhouse.
change their culture or anything. They're still independent as they are.
Yeah.
They didn't change them really. In case one day, let's say, heaven forbid, they want to sell them off. They're still self-contained the way they are. Do they have their little connections to them now? Well, actually, they always did, apparently. They always had that relationship.
And remember
right?
Jet Empire?
Right.
Remember all of these games that BioWare used to make for Xbox only?
Yep.
Microsoft still bought them. And if Microsoft did buy all these studios in the 360 era, what happened? We won't be in this paradigm right now. And now, but Sony did that in the PS3 era. When Sony started buying studios in the PS3 era, like they bought Sucker Punch, Guerrilla Games. What the hell they
Was a
bought?
legend.
Yeah, Medium Article, the people who made Little Big Planet. They bought all of these studio. And all of these studios were building these games up for years. Like Horizon took 7 years. Sucker Punch made Ghost of Tsushima. That took 6 years. You know, all of these games took a long time to make. They're building them up.
Yeah, but when Microsoft makes games, they only get 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
And on the games that they made, it was Halo, Gears, and Forza. Yeah, they got and Fable. You gotta get Fable credit. But after that, what else they made? Sea of Thieves was great. Ori is great, but Quantum Break wasn't their studio, but that was a third-party game. So that's why
the narrative needs to be repeated differently by the Xbox fans who respond.
Yeah, but that's
back. Because even we say Halo, Gears, and Forza. We should also be saying Halo, Gears, and Forza, and Grounded, and Sea of Thieves, and this game and that game that we already have. And it's not from like recent purchases, from stuff they've been putting in work on
for years.
Yeah, but that came from years though, right? It was years of Halo, Gears, and Forza. We got one Grounded, and so we can't and one Sea of Thieves, so we can't write a new narrative in one game.
No, I'm not saying to write a new narrative, but see, it's not a narrative, it's a fact. Say
it is a fact
because it's true. I don't have to exaggerate to say the truth. You see, it's like I always say about these PlayStation fanboys. You just have to say the truth because the truth is so much stranger than fiction could have possibly have been. Like, but the one thing I just want to add to what has been said thus far, like Microsoft has been playing with both hands tied behind its back this whole time. We let Sony live, right? Let Nintendo live, right? That's done with. That's done with. And if you didn't see that was true, people felt it when Satya Nadella said what he said with that swagger, and you see the look on his face. That spoke to people. That spoke to people. It was more than it's how do you say it when you communicate without words, right? And it says a million. It's like when the Xbox Series X was announced at the Game Awards, and it's flipped to Jeff Keighley. That look in his face said everything to everybody across gaming.
He was pissed.
Right, but it was also a shock, like, oh snap, right?
He was pissed, but he never saw that coming.
Right, none of us saw it coming.
He was pissed.
If you rep Nintendo, Xbox, PC, it didn't matter. All gamers were like, oh snap, it's about to be on. And then the ZeniMax thing, oh no, they really not playing in a level that we didn't even imagine when we saw the 12 teraflop thing. And then on top of that, with this Activision thing, they keep upping even for us faithful, they up the bar far beyond that we could even have imagined. So when I say, yo, the wallet is open, yo, they're not playing games, they really out here to do this so-called monopolistic stuff that they probably would have did 20 years ago if they weren't known as such back then. Okay?
They had a bad rap. They had a bad rap.
Very afraid. It's on it. They got the two guns ready. They got the smoke ready for whoever want it.
Yeah, but they had a bad. But Microsoft had a bad rap.
Right. That's done with now. That's done with now. Now they can do whatever they want.
No, the antitrust laws and this and that, and that's what a lot of people in the world don't like Microsoft because It's just that it's not only Microsoft. They don't like Google, big companies, because when big companies buy smaller companies, that's not a good thing. There's less competition.
Right.
So, well, Microsoft bought,
Ain't about just less
remember,
competition game. They ruin the identity of the company
yeah,
from where
yeah,
they even built a fan base. It's not just
yeah,
about
yeah,
competition.
the
They
competition,
completely
yeah.
gut the company soul.
Yep. And
Like,
take what
look
they
at
need
Google.
and then get rid of them. That's what they did.
But look at
My
Google.
man
Google been
Force
doing it for
Legend
years.
in the building says this. If PlayStation dies, it dies. No love for PlayStation.
PlayStation
Idiot.
dies, it dies.
Because
The best
Microsoft,
they can get from Microsoft
listen.
right now is a controller.
Force Legend again. State of Decay 2. It is amazing. Deserves better.
Yeah, that's true.
I already know
Look,
you agree, legal.
and
The
look,
way you left me fighting that juggernaut.
hey, Microsoft could take a Thanos glove right now and snap their fingers, and someone would be dead today. You know how they could do that? They could buy Ubisoft, and they could buy EA. It's over.
They can't buy Ubisoft no more.
Not no more. Not no more. But EA and Microsoft have always been close. I really hope they don't buy them. Honestly.
Oh, Take Two.
They don't need to sell. But they can't buy Ubisoft because Tencent bought 50% of the parent company.
Right.
Yeah. But they still could give Tencent the money and just bought off the shares if they want to. But I don't think it'll happen.
No, I don't. Ubisoft, that family does not want to sell.
Nah, they don't want to.
That family doesn't want to sell.
They could sell for a private company. That's what they said. Not a big company. So somebody could back them up in the long run.
That means they don't want to sell.
Yeah,
because they're a public company. They're a public company themselves. So and they have so many different branches. Like if you look over there at that stock market, there's so many different Ubisofts you can invest in. But that's why the parent company is what Tencent bought 50% in. So they own 50% of all that. I don't see Tencent selling it. And Tencent is the perfect partner if you just need money because they don't want to control anything. They just want to make sure that you make money.
So they can make money.
Yeah. Because if you look at the only thing they really bought was Riot. And they don't own all of it. They own controlling shares. Epic, 40%. So they don't want to do the work. They just want their money to work. So I don't know, but Microsoft, look, they don't need anything else. They have Activision. They have the number one annual game. It's not annual anymore. They have a service that has good games. They have probably about 45 teams in total to make games, and that's why the regulators are asking them if they will shut out third parties, which doesn't make any sense.
Right,
but it's something that they can do. But it's something that they can do.
Right.
Nintendo doesn't have third-party support because their console is trash, but Xbox can do the same thing.
And they're competing with the third parties. The top 25 Nintendo games on any given Nintendo platform is usually Nintendo games,
and that's
their own games.
And that's why I say, man, maybe there's something to that because there's nothing else to play for the most part. So they buy the Nintendo games, whereas Sony and Microsoft, they host their main competition. They host all their competition.
Oh, yeah. And that's one last key thing I definitely want to mention, right? See, everybody's talking about Activision, Call of Duty. Now, I just mentioned how the real play is probably King Games. But putting that aside, let's not forget, Nintendo doesn't have Call of Duty. In fact, Microsoft buying Activision will bring it to the Switch. We'll bring Call of Duty to the Switch.
No, the old Call of Duty. Not that.
I think they'll get Warzone.
I think they'll get Warzone too. That's what I'm thinking.
Nah,
or that mobile game that they're doing.
It's on phones, bro.
Yeah. With a new one, and that new one will be on the Switch. I
told a lot of people, man, they should have did. I think they should just port Call of Duty mobile to the Switch and then just make it free to play with microtransactions.
But they're doing that new Warzone, so it'll probably be that one. But they should have did that before. Right, I agree. But that's my point though. They are going to do that. He already said it. Phil Spencer already said it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so not only will they have a Call of Duty game, because they haven't had that franchise since I think the Wii, not even the Wii U, the Wii, right?
No, the Wii U. The Wii U.
You had a game, okay, I think it was Black Ops 2, right? Or something, right?
No, I think the last one was
Ghosts, right? It was Ghosts, right?
No, which one came first? Ghosts or Black Ops 2?
No,
Black Ops 2.
Black Ops 2, and then
There was Ghost.
Right.
Then Ghost was the last one.
Right. So basically, I just want to say, yo.
No, I'm saying Black Ops 2 was the last one, right?
No,
Ghost.
it was Ghost, because Ghost comes out after.
Mm.
That was the beginning of last generation. Remember, with the dog and all that stuff. So yeah, it was that.
I thought those World at War. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not
right, but either way, long story short, like now Nintendo platforms will get Call of Duty games. Yeah, they'll get a backlog of the old ones, and then and probably this Warzone, but that's a lot better than what they had before, which is nothing. Right. And if Nintendo can survive, and they're number 1, by the way, Microsoft is number 3, right? Then
it depends on how you depends on how you count.
Right. Indeed. But I'm just saying, right? Like, if all that talk is about how it's a monopoly, Microsoft buying Activision means that game is on more platforms than it was before, not less. And they already had made that clear from beforehand, before Cade asked them. So there's no problem.
But Joe, I think I asked y'all, right? Why isn't Game Pass on the PlayStation 5? Yeah, I don't know. I know legal knows because I asked you, right? Remember PlayStation 5, they had 4 had a browser, right? They didn't want Game Pass on their console. See, Xbox knows that PlayStation, Nintendo don't want Game Pass, but they will never be able to say that it was never offered to them. So when they say all platforms, yeah, it's not up to us. We're offering it on all platforms. Those platforms have the decision to make whether they put it on there or not. But PlayStation had a browser, and they disabled it. So now you can't play that. You can't play Game Pass through the browser. Same thing that we have on the Xbox. You can Google search emulators and play any game you want to play right through the browser. You got NVIDIA GeForce right through the browser. That's why Game Pass isn't on PlayStation. It could be available. That's why this deal I don't see anything that they can bring up to stop this deal.
Nope.
And that's why I don't see anything that anyone can do to stop Microsoft from doing what's about to happen. 5 more minutes. Look, you can close it out.
Yeah. So if you want to wrap up, thanks to everyone for coming out. If y'all want, listen to the beginning of this episode again. I break down the whole chip situation if you would like to hear that, to understand all the facts at play and why what I said is factually true and can't be denied, because Sony is ripping people off, right? It's just obvious, right? You can go to GameStop right now and they have PlayStation 5s for $750. It already has a pack in. So all those folks are talking about outside countries and that situation is horrible. And we got to take a bite of that shit sandwich too. Meanwhile, Game Pass, right? We see what's up. Once again, making money. Gamers are playing more games. Everybody's happy except for the PlayStation fanboys. That's it.
Facts.
Alex, Fritang, all those dudes who love to just clown people who say stupid stuff, they rarely have smoke for Xbox dudes, because Xbox dudes aren't the ones out here talking crap.
They don't even know what the hell they talking about, bro. Stop speaking their names, bro.
I'm just saying. You know who they are. And I know you don't like them or whatever, but see, it was just like we were talking about Paris months ago when I was talking about.
Look, bro.
No. Stop with all of that. That's not important. And we're trying to wrap up. That's not important. We're trying to wrap up, man.
We're trying to wrap
up.
It's not totally different.
No, but it needs to be said, because just like when you talked about Paris last year when what's his name was out there running his mouth and Paris was the one to come and check him, it's the same thing now. They don't even talk negative about Xbox fans because it's not us who's talking the shit. It's these PlayStation fanboys talking ignorance out here, right?
But the dude that parents checked was named Kid Smooth.
Kid
Who
Smooth,
we
there
getting
you go.
out here?
Right?
Really?
Hmm?
You see what I'm saying? Really?
I'm just saying. Big clown, right? He calls himself the best bot. He's the worst of us.
It's hilarious out here, man.
He's
He
the
ain't no
worst of
wuss.
us. Calls
It's-
himself the
it's
best
hila-
bot. He
all
should
I'm
be
gonna say is this,
excommunicated from the
hilarious
whole.
out
He
here.
should be excommunicated from the whole Xbox community. Frankly, that dude is a clown. And yeah, leave PC alone, bro, because you don't know what you're doing with that. But then you done made yourself look like a fool all by
These
yourself, so
dudes
nobody
are
got to tell
funny
you.
as hell, man.
But
Hey,
yo,
yeah, but look,
man,
hey, when it comes to PlayStation, man, once you create zombies, you can cut off their arms and they keep on going.
yep,
Like
yep.
you can
Oh, yeah,
tell them
oh,
all
yeah.
the facts because legal, you need to find that video where you spend an hour breaking down the whole chip situation that Sony came out and said that Bloomberg, a reputable site,
Yes,
who has sources, who will not plagiarize or not plagiarize, falsify
Right.
documents
Right,
and information. All right, you did a whole hour talking about that. You need to find and you need to repost that. And,
They
and
don't
direct
listen to
people
that, bro.
yes.
Well,
They don't listen
those
to that.
look, y'all okay. Well, y'all spent an hour today talking about it. So
I
Yeah,
did.
put
I
it out
did.
there, bro.
Yeah.
Put it
I
out
did.
there, and then you can link to the beginning of this one, bro. Man, you'll get more views for people to understand what's going on because it's 100%
You see-
relevant to what we're talking about.
Because what they don't understand, Six Slayer, is why that Austin Evans video was so important to us. You know, to us.
It establishes the facts. It's important.
And all
to
it
more than
did
just
was
us. It's
concrete
important to
what we were
everybody,
saying.
right?
Now, like I said, you want to go chase the win. You like, you know, the antics and stuff. The beautiful thing about this YouTube thing is it's vastly ranged out to where you can go wherever you want. But when you come here knowing we're not playing games with you, we're not here to sit here and tickle your ears. We're not here to lie to you. We're not here to play T-ball with you. All right? There's plenty more clowns out there to do that for you. You can get into that. We get it. Everybody doesn't want to do this deep enrichment. We get it. We know we're not on the most popular turning wheel of the cycle here, but we don't care. We like what we do. And we're not here to tell people where to go either. Let's make that clear. You go where you want to go. So that's why we're always thankful and grateful for the people that come by here and stop and listen to what these guys got to say. Because I like what these dudes say. I'm a fan of them. These guys here and everybody that graces Di-RRec Gaming, I'm a fan of. We need more people like Games Hero on Di-RRec Gaming. We love to hear new voices that know the Xbox community. It's like I said, we don't want everybody, right, Games Heroes? Right,
Nope.
Sid? Right, Realist? We don't want everybody.
Damn right.
We don't want centaurs. We don't want half-breeds. Like my man Hyperfame would say, we don't want double agents. We don't
We
want,
don't want the ignorant.
right. I don't want neutrals here.
We don't want the willingly ignorant. And
Yeah,
the
we
fake
don't want
neutrals,
the
more
the
specific. You want to be
willingly
neutral, that's
ignorant.
fine. The fake neutrals,
My man
especially.
G4. We don't want the ignorant willingly, you know. We don't want the gallopers. we don't want the get along gang. All we ask for is just the real Xbox gamers, man. Just give them to us. That's all we asking. We don't want much. We're not asking for much. But if you ain't gonna speak the language of the Xbox language, don't come here. I'm not listening to you because I'm not here to sway the crowd or, you know what I'm saying, go with this and go with that. I'm just here to shoot it straight, man, and just let y'all know these three hearts out here for real.
And if you out here trying to distract us from, you know, what's going on, we got mods to check you.
Facts. It's just what it is, man. So I hope you enjoyed this show with these guys. Six Slayer, it was good to see Austin Evans. Salute to you. I know how that feels, man. You feel like, you know, a guy like him who very intelligent, man. I mean, the guy very computer savvy. I like his shows. I can watch Austin Evans. It's cool with me. I like him. He's got the nerd look. You know what I'm saying? And he knows how to.
Yeah, he seems like he goes to the gym because he kind of buff low key. You know, that is kind of weird about
him. You know, he does his thing, and his videos are real good. You can learn a lot from him. That's good stuff. You know what I'm saying? No clown work. He don't put on no costume. He ain't tap dancing out here. Just does his thing, man. And his success it foreshadows what he's about, you know. And so he's fulfilled because he does what he's about. To everybody out there that if you know Jago6, let him know he was accidentally hit out from one of the moderators, but he didn't do anything wrong. Let him know I'm reaching out to him. It's been a good night, man. These guys had a lot to say. That video was concrete evidence for us. We can move on now. See, we're done with that. We don't ever have to go back to that.
Yep.
Because we got a dude on YouTube with over 1 million subscribers.
Now we can just allude to the fact that that's already been established.
Right, that vouched us. So now we can close this chapter, right, and move to the next one. So now you know that the amount of charge that Sony is doing to you doesn't even make any sense now, because now they can actually save money with what they're doing, but the inflation isn't the reason. It's just Sony needs money, man. It's simple. When you're getting sued all the time, when your movies are flopping, when you're not hitting your projected targets, see, that's what Sony don't want y'all to see. They're not even hitting their targets. They're missing their targets by a long shot. They're not even close. They're going into the, second year? They were supposed to be in the high 20 millions. They ain't even nowhere near that. By their third year, they were supposed, by 2024, they were supposed to have 68 million consoles sold. That ain't finna happen. That ain't finna happen. So my only thing to y'all is, what are y'all gonna do about it? What are y'all gonna do? See, we're just sitting here to ride this one out. We really want to see the ending of this ride. We want to see y'all. We want to see how y'all handle it. Because it looks like y'all can't even handle it. Get out here, make God of War sell 10 million in his first 3 months. I dare y'all. I dare y'all. I'm putting my 10 toes down. Prove me wrong. You got one chance, right, Games Heroes? They got one chance to prove us wrong.
That PS5 version, not the PS4.
Right, there you go. 6 layer gonna add to it. Yo.
Golly, man, y'all asking too much out of these dudes.
No, because it's
dude,
true,
they better sell 20 million in 5 years with 114 million consoles.
That's their hot game, their last hot game for a while. They better freaking buy it if they love their platform. What are you talking about?
It's gonna be bundled soon.
It's gonna be in a bundle before summer hits.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Realist.
Of course.
I
see what Realist going.
I think January.
Yo, Games Heroes, watch this. I got Realist. Realist gonna die on this one. 6 you gonna die on this one. Chit Chat, y'all gonna die on this one. Y'all ready? I see where Realist is going with this. We put too much pressure on these guys, you know, and I understand, you know. So I'll tell you what, Realist. I won't go more beyond what we were capable of doing. Sell 4.5 million in 24 hours for God of War. We did it for Forza Horizon 5.
Okay. Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
They're not going to even do that, bro. They sandwich your neck. They setting that game out to pasture just like they did Horizon and GT.
The game is on the PS.
They're sandwiching that game between 2 different God of War drops. Get out of here. They push back. They got them to push Hogwarts and Forspoken back. But you ain't getting Activision to push Call of Duty.
Realist. It's going to die. You know why it's going to die?
On my birthday.
Because majority of people are going to buy a PlayStation game 5, to play. It's not God of War. It's going to be Modern Warfare 2, dude. That's the biggest game coming out this month. And when God of War coming out? 9th, right? November 9th. That's like a week.
When does Warzone drop?
Same date.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so
That-
the week
dude,
later, listen.
dude.
120 million
And then
PS4.
Sonic
Let's
dropped
say
the day after too.
20 million of them is the
Yeah,
guys who
Sony
upgrade to
dropped it like a
PS5.
week, like
Right,
a
so
day
100 million
after.
systems. Come
I
on,
don't
man.
think
That
we're
game should
asking
sell.
too much, sick.
We're not asking
Yeah,
too much,
asking
man.
too
That's
much,
100
man.
million PS4s, man. Because if you take
Hey.
off the 20 who went to PS5, what the hell? Nah, come on.
20.
Hey,
I
hey,
don't
Come
know.
on. But we know
4.5
PlayStation fans
million
don't buy
is
games. You know what? No. You know what? I think I'm the stereolist now. Because
Let's
PlayStation fans
go.
don't buy games. The records prove it. So okay.
That's all
Man,
I'm
you
trying to say.
asking-
That's all I'm trying to say. They
I
don't
feel
play
you.
these games.
I feel
They don't
you.
buy
You're
these
right.
games.
You're
PlayStation
right.
got to
They
damn
talk
near
about
give
it, but
them
they
away
don't.
before they buy them, man.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
bro.
y'all think
Hey,
y'all
yeah.
think they're gonna hit 4 million before the game drops
You're right.
like Horizon?
You're right.
4.5
I
in
mean,
24
hey bro,
hours. Really.
hey bro, man, that's only for people on Game Pass.
Hey, realist, what do you think will be a bungle? I say January.
Say it again.
What do you think? God of War will be a bungle.
I think it's gonna get
spring.
I think it's gonna
spring.
get bundled in the spring.
I think
Damn.
That's
spring.
what I said
Nah,
before
I say
summer hit.
January.
Nah,
January.
that's too
Damn.
fast, man. That's too fast.
Man, y'all don't have no faith in them?
Nope.
No.
Look at the first
Dude,
one.
dude,
Look at the
and
first
I mean
one.
that's great, too.
Game of the generation. Look at
Yeah.
Dude,
Tlu 2, best game ever created.
dude, they gotta compete with what's the name? Call of Duty.
Bro, it's sandwiched between 2 Call of Duty drops. The number 1 game is on PlayStation every year is Call of Duty. Come on.
Dude, Call of
They
Duty.
doing Kratos bad, man.
Yeah, nah. Listen. They should have
Yeah.
delayed that game to March.
They really treated
To do
Aloy like
what?
the redhead stepchild.
They should. They
it's
should have.
position.
They should have delayed. What's the name?
They
They
need it
should
for
have
the
delayed-
holiday. They need
They
it for
should
the
have delayed
holiday.
Horizon. But see, the thing with Horizon is, man, I know
Horizon
Legal
got
was ready to
delayed.
go.
That's what came out when it did.
Nah, yeah, it got delayed to get out of the 4th quarter, right? But
Yep.
the thing with Horizon and why they got to push it so hard is because they got VR coming, and that's supposed to be their killer app, right? That's supposed to be their Half-Life Alyx.
As much
And
as I'm a
if
VR,
people don't
nah,
if people
they ain't
don't
gonna
care
do it.
about the base game, they're not gonna care about the VR game. You can't sell the VR if nobody cares about Horizon.
Where's their
Well,
killer
well,
app?
well, I
Where's
got
their
breaking
killer app?
news. I got breaking news. So, Call of Duty Warzone 2.0 is coming out November 16th. So when
Ooh,
God
the
of War
week
coming
after.
out? 9th?
The night.
Right.
Oh man, you dead, man. That shit
That's the
dead.
next week.
That's what
That's
I said.
dead.
It's sandwiched between 2 Call of Duty games.
That's dead,
You got
man. That's
the
dead,
core
man.
game that's coming out this month?
Yeah.
They doing it bad, man. I don't know what Kratos did.
God
I don't know
of War,
what
God of War.
Warlock
Listen,
did.
God of War is not going to compete with Call of Duty, dude.
Nope.
It's
That's why I
not.
said that's why I said it's gonna get delayed. But they keep announcing these new announcements, making me look like I'm wrong. But I still say it's not gonna drop.
They should delay that game in March. Because you're competing with Call of Duty 2, Modern Warfare 2, and Warzone 2.0. Jeez. Good luck in that, man.
Yeah, they don't want to sell games, man. But see, this is the thing.
Not mine.
I'm saying good luck.
They already know that the base, the people who buy these hammers and all this other stuff, those people, there's about 1 million of them. They're gonna buy it, and then after that, everybody else gonna be waiting for it to hit a sale or something. And it's gonna slow drag. It's gonna take about 5 or 6 years to get to 20 million. Giveaways, bundles, deep discounts, Black Friday sales before they can get the numbers up. I don't know why.
Hey, the biggest game in this holiday is not God of War. It's mostly Modern Warfare 2.
Peace out to Jeremy.
Piece of like Modern Warfare.
Spoken.
Like that Modern Warfare 2. Listen. That Modern Warfare 2 on PS5 is going to outsold God of War lifetime cycle. God of War.
I got Game Chills on record.
Like how many people bought God of War 2018? 20 million, 5 years, right?
20 million.
5 years, right?
That game was as low as $9.99 and given away.
Facts.
Yeah. So Modern Warfare 2 come out on PS5. We're not talking about like all systems. I'm talking about only on the PS5.
Yeah.
And remember, Sony like to what's the name? Put out the top download game of the month. I bet you Modern Warfare 2 will be the number one on the month, and God of War probably number 5 or number 6. Like that means that why do you put God of War like the same week of COD? Like
you have no more. You have no choice. You can't keep pushing it back.
You can't push
it's
it
the
back.
holiday game, and they needed to be out at a certain point to start the momentum into the holiday season.
They've been staying out of the fourth quarter for a reason. They don't drop fourth quarter games. Nintendo doesn't drop fourth quarter games. This is the first year that Nintendo does.
No, Microsoft does all the time.
Huh? Yeah, Microsoft does.
Yeah, and because Microsoft know how to compete. Like Gears compete with COD. Halo doesn't matter how bad, no content. That game killed Battlefield and COD.
Listen, but before people ran out of content, Halo was the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. It was the game that everybody was talking about. It was
still better than
Vanguard. It was a game voted by the best game voted by the players,
and it wasn't broken.
Yeah. So by the time we get to where we are now, and then we're like, but when it came out, there was more than enough for everybody to be happy with it.
But it was better than Vanguard. It was better than Black Ops.
It's always better than Vanguard. Look, I don't play Duty, man. I'm just rooting for Activision to laugh at people. Like Activision got to bring back their old stuff before I get excited.
Hey, man, this call.
Give me some more true crime. You know what I'm saying? Give me some of that. Make some new IP.
Yeah,
bring WoW to console or something.
But my answer question, realist. Do they show gameplay of God of War?
Yeah, they did.
They did.
They did. It's the best trailer ever seen by these guys. These
Xbox
guys, like gassing them on Game On Daily. Got bots on the show talking. What's the best trailer they ever seen? Like, come on, man.
I didn't seen it.
I don't have to seem like I'm a real gamer because I have to give Sony praise. I'll give Sony praise for stuff I like.
Yeah,
me too. Like
the thing is, they don't give me what I like for the most part.
Hey, listen. I told people,
get praise. That's how that works.
And listen, I told people, right? I will buy a PS5. I got no problem with that. But I got to give them the games I want. Give me SOCOM. Resistance.
Yes. I always mention SOCOM. Yes.
Yeah.
Do that.
But why won't they give you that? Because they can't sell it.
No.
Make it free to play, man. That's the way to go. Games as a service, man.
They
of all those 12 games.
Hold on. If you make it games as a service, a free to play, that means you have to compete. Sony don't like to compete.
Well, they said they're making 12 games as a service games. Why can't one of them be SOCOM?
They make 12, and they're gonna be different than everybody else. They're gonna try to do something different. They're not gonna make a game to go head up with Call of Duty. They're gonna give you some Last of Us zombie hideout, some kind of crap like that.
EA's not afraid to do it. They put out, hey, listen, they should have held back Battlefield for a year, they didn't. But that's EA for you, they'd be done. But you know what?
They'll put EA also has Apex too, though.
There you go. They put what they got out there, and Apex was a risk. They put it out there out of nowhere with no fanfare.
Yeah, out of nowhere,
they
bro.
Just
like
dropped it hot.
All of a sudden, it just took off.
Yup.
Like that Sony can't do that.
And then in the middle of it, with the whole Titanfall situation, where the hackers were DDoSing and all of that, and they had to finally fix it and all of that. Don't forget what they went through with that game too. There's also Rainbow Six. That's legendary. Everybody else has competed, but Sony. So no, one of those 12 could be SOCOM. They got to put in work, bro. The same they told us. Well, they need to do the same thing now. I want to see it.
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if you get like some Fall Guy type of games too. They didn't say that they were all big AAA.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Big budget live service games. Fall Guys is one of the most played games. Even though it's like
cool. That's cool. I wouldn't knock it. But for 12 games,
Among Us
should be SOCOM. Yeah.
But I don't expect them to go head up in this market because
not all 12 have to be. But one. When it's 12, one could be. I'm only asking.
Something will. I don't expect them to compete. That's why Call of Duty has hurt them so much because they don't have anything in the pipeline. If I knew Deviation has something that was comparable to, I'd be fair play, Microsoft. We got you. We're coming in 4 years. But they don't. All right, y'all. Good show.
Yes. We've just been going talking a lot of great stuff. Peace, everybody.
All right,
Yeah.
y'all.
Yeah, good night, man.
Peace, y'all. Y'all have a good night, man. Thank y'all for coming out.
Shout out
Get
to
outta
the
here.
chat and everybody for showing up. Peace.
Thanks.
Yeah, peace.